Okay.
But I like him now.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. How are we?
Hello.
Welcome out, everybody, to episode
Hello.
27. Welcome back, Brizzy. Good to have you back. How was the... you were at a convention, right?
No, I was just home for Christmas, and
Oh, home for
I was
Christmas, okay.
flying back that day, so.
Well, I hope you had a good flight. We were well missed.
Yeah.
You missed a pretty thought-provoking episode, I think, for some
Sounds like it.
mystery-solving episode.
And a beat down.
Yeah, it was a beatdown. Yeah, the fight. I wasn't even going to recap because it was like 5% of
Didn't
the
even
episode in
happen.
the end. But you, we can get you recapped real quick. Is there anything anyone wants to shout out before we get into tonight's episode?
Nah.
Okay, then who wishes to do the recap for today?
I can read it since I
I was
missed
gonna
it.
say, yeah, Brissy.
Sure.
Okay. Last we left off, we cornered our enemy at the bottom of the thickets and killed 2 of the 3. 1, a roachling, we spared, agreeing that he was not worth killing. With the droplets of wisdom now able to be recovered, we decided to ask some questions of our own. One by one, we learned truths of our present until finally Willoughby asked, "Show me who poisoned Yggdrasil."
All of you are in the thicket. We left with you each going through a series of questions. Lena got to learn of her daughter and the fate, but also of the Grey Sisters and how to get there, so that more questions could be answered. Juno discovered thoughts and answers, but more questions along the way as well. And through that, through stronger thoughts, stronger powers combined, Juno became stronger. Each of you went through a series of questions to learn about the world or your characters, until one particular question came up. Oh, not a question, a statement, an order, one of the mind. Show me who poisoned Yggdrasil. And your mind shot out from your body like a light ray, floated endlessly on the wind, escaping away from your mind and headed ever outward. And it continued to go. Let me find music for this. Let's go to this. As your mind escapes, going ever distant away from where you are now, heading up and high into the clouds, until you become part of them, dispersing yourself into them. It feels like you're drifting in the clouds for minutes, but it all looks the same to you, like swimming through an endless foamy fog in the sky. And then the clouds depart, drifting like a sea opening up. And there is a mountain like no other, a mountain that could rival any in Jotunheim, a mountain in the clouds, a temple atop that mountain. And your mind starts to drift in. You are so very far from home when you arrive at this mountain, so very distant from where you began. And as you fly in, you land just on an opening, almost like it's almost like a hangar in the way that it's designed, without like a roof. It's kind of a platform for landing for any who's flying up here. And landing right beside you, you see something take off its goggles. And you see Hermod, a god of the Norse world, a Ratatosk, the adopted son of Odin, the messenger of Odin. You see as he rubs his eyes, and he takes a little message out. And leaning down from the side, you see a cloaked, a robed individual wearing a long toga with winged boots lean down and snatch a message from his hand. You see him scoff. Hermod just smiles and hops into the sky and starts bounding down platforms that are not there, leaving kind of light trails as he kind of bounds down into the clouds, going lower and lower. And now we'll follow through all of what you can make out to be Olympus. You drift up your little light onto the shoulder of Hermes. And you begin drifting on his shoulder and entering into Olympus. So one of my music things did not stop playing.
Hey, I'm into it.
Do this one. And so, there you go. You land on the shoulder of Hermes. It's from his perspective that you will see Olympus. The first portion you drift into, you pass by seats. The way that Olympus is designed is 3 temples, one after the other on tiers. To your left, in a shadowed section, the only shadowed section in the entirety of Olympus, where the light usually shines down, you see a large hulking god. From what you had heard of the Mesogaian gods is that they were all handsome, chiseled, beautiful. But this one is not. His beard ragged, his body a little hunched, and he sits in the shadow. Go ahead and roll an insight check, Willoughby.
Okay.
I believe in you.
That is a 18, because I'm in Dragon Con.
18. With an 18, you can see, and roll a perception check as well, please. You can see him glaring.
24.
Hey.
24. You can see him glaring a couple of tiers up. You don't know who he's glaring at. You didn't roll high enough to see that. But with the perception check, you can see him cradling in his hand a broken urn. Seated beside him as Hermes drifts forward. All of this happening pretty quickly, by the way. Not giving you enough time to kind of take in more information than I'm giving you. You see an elegant figure that is catching all of the light. It's almost ironic, like she is catching all of the light that is going atop the god to the side. She wears long, very lightly pink and yellow toga and robes that drift down to her feet. Her hands are extended as a series of other equally beautiful ladies with these kind of, almost like these water bowls onto their heads, which have kind of weaved into their hair, are giving her a manicure. She sits with one hand atop the ugly god's hand. Go ahead and give me an insight check with her.
Okay. 18.
She's not subtle. And she's staring longingly, biting her lip, twirling a finger into her hair, staring across at the other end of this tier at another god that you see. He's wearing broad golden and brass armor with his arms free. He wears a helmet with a red feather going all the way through it. A series of these, kind of almost like fan-like feathers on his helmet. His eyes glow deep, and his skin a deep olive. He stands, clean-shaven, but his face shadowed beneath the mask, or beneath the helmet. And he stands in front of a table. You see nothing on the table but light drifting off of it. but when he presses on it, you can see it kind of echoes. Go ahead and roll an insight check on him.
21.
His eyes are drifting back every now and then towards the beautiful god. Distracted, as he's trying to discuss and argue with someone else in front of him. His eyes keep glaring over towards the woman who can't stop but twirling her hair at him. But in front of this armored god is another. Her skin beautiful and radiant, with slight kind of almost gleams of white kind of gleaming off of her dark skin. You can see this almost kind of like it's almost as if she had magic embedded into it. But she stands there with blue as her main color, regal down as kind of a sash across her toga. She stands with a belt. On her back, she has a rounded shield and a spear in it. She takes the armored god's hand and moves it 2 steps to the left on the table. He pulls back angrily. He says something, but you can't understand anything they say. You can't hear anything. And she merely smirks. One of her hands is on the table, the other one is behind her back. Can you roll an insight check, please? Sorry, perception check, even.
20.
My tree.
She's holding a seashell. Running in her fingers. It seems to be made of bronze. Hermes lifts with you up onto the next tier, and he's drifting towards the top. Now on this tier, you see to one side, in a gallant long chair lying down on his side, eating both grapes and having his drink poured by a beautiful young man with blonde hair that is curled to his side. You see a radiant god with flowers across his hair, beautiful chiseled body as any you would have imagined in the stories, wearing a toga that's so open that he's practically naked with what little it's covering. And he lies there, feeding from the grapes, allowing his drink to be filled. And the beautiful young man who's kind of stood in front of him in his kind of early 20s accidentally pours the drink too much, spilling it. You see the god roll his eyes. Go ahead and roll an insight check on the young man.
21.
He's staring daggers of his own. Up into the top tier, straight to the high, almighty seat. Distracted, he quickly leans down and wipes up some of the wine from the ground, which you can see almost floats back into the jug. Hermes continues with you, flying along this tier. There on the same tier, standing on their own, dressed not like any of the others, is a long, cloaked individual with a golden skull mask. It has no mouth, just the eyes and the nose of a skull. Roll a perception check of them, as they stand so still, waiting.
Nat 20.
Nat 20. They do not have the build of a god. They are thinner. And they clutch in their hands a symbol. A symbol that you would know to belong to Hades. This person with a Nat 20 seems to be more of a representative. Hades is not present. This person seems to be there in their stead. And also, on this section, you see one last individual who is sat facing away, looking out at the distant lands from atop the clouded temple. Her head turned, slightly withered face, but still beautiful. Her hair pulled up into a bun. And in her hand, she's folding the same kind of piece of clothing over and over. Go ahead and roll an insight check on her.
10, so an 18.
She's facing away. It's hard to tell what she's thinking from there. And Hermes brings you up to the top tier. There, in a much more circular, designed temple formation, you see a chair, great chair, straight ahead of you. But along the sides, to your right, you see the seat. A series of seats that go around, almost in a kind of a semicircle. Greater seats for some of the higher up gods. You see one, almost hard to look at, burning bright. His skin almost yellow and burning, like the sun itself. With a bright smile and beautiful expression, you see this god talking to another, boasting clearly by his gestures. Go ahead and roll a perception check.
23.
In his left hand, he's twirling a dagger. And you can see the hilt of the dagger is made of wood. But not any ordinary wood. The same ashen and black bark that you would recognize from Yggdrasil. He twirls it back and forth in his hands as he boasts. And the one he boasts to, sitting there to his side, is not looking at him. She's running a finger around a wine glass. She's beautiful herself with long brown hair that flows and is kind of twined together in a series of ponytails that are just kind of coming off of one another. Braided all the way down. She doesn't look once to the sun god to her side. Roll an insight check on her.
27.
27. She is no doubt infuriated at the sight of the king of the gods. She is staring at the one on the high seat. And you can see her gritting her teeth as she looks at him. Across from her, as Hermes flies in a little further, you see on a large chair, built with coral and seashells itself, but still marbled to design to fit into the Olympus. You see a tall god with no shirt on, more muscular and broad than some of the others, but with a great beard that's almost bluish with its white intent. His hair flows down curly down his shoulders. You can see as the curls kind of push against each other that when one hits another, it ripples like the waves. You see this broad olive-skinned god sit back, but his eyes are closed. Roll an insight check on him.
And that one.
Too far away as Hermes drifts round closer to the other gods. You can't see what he's focusing on. But Hermes lands and kneels and sat there in a tallest seat that has steps that go up to it. Broad. You see a god with a white beard that is perfectly forked downward. His hair beautiful as it flows down his back. A face that is still both young yet refined, like a finely aged wine. Beautiful, striking blue eyes that ripple with energy. Lightning crackling between his fingers. You can make this out to be Zeus, none other. And as you sit there, on the shoulder of Hermes, you see as he sits in his chair, and another leans in. A hooded figure. Roll a perception check.
24.
You see a beautiful woman's face, pale. Unlike any of the other Mr. Gaian gods. Black hair that streaks down and pulls over her cloak. She wears clothing that is cloth that you wouldn't really recognize in Mesogaya. It's closer to somewhat colder. She wears it wrapped around herself, and underneath that cloak, though, she's kind of loosely clad in various leathers and kind of straps of any cloth that she can put together. In one hand, she's holding what seems to be a walking stick, but then you recognize it's a staff. And she's leaning in and whispering into the ear of Zeus. You see him laugh and smile and blush She leans back, giggling herself. Both eyes turn towards Hermes as he delivers the message that came from Hermod. And then Zeus's eyes look straight towards you. He narrows his eyes for a moment, and you feel the light fade and as you flit away from Olympus, flying up into the clouds, quicker this time, flying all the way back until your mind returns, and you're stood there in the thickets, surrounded by the others.
So, I got news.
What did you see?
Well,
Who did you see, I guess?
well, I saw an awful lot of gods. I'll tell you what right away. Pretty much almost every god that I could probably count in Olympus.
Oh shit.
I went to Olympus.
Great. Like all of them were there. Like every.
I mean,
okay.
I clocked some of them.
But
Joe, I'm also assuming that there are some, because I have the list of ones that I would have recognized from being at the, like, any of the festivals and stuff. So I would have recognized Zeus, Apollo, Ares, Athena, Dionysus, Hades, or Pan, if I saw any of them there.
You did not see Pan. You did not see Hades.
Okay.
You did see.
I'm assuming if, like, Willoughby describes who he saw, Draven and I can probably help fill in some of those blanks, right?
Willoughby will be conveying everything that he saw.
I can take you through them, and we can do rolls based on each of them to see how well you describe them. Obviously, you recognize Hermod, the ugly god. For this one, I would say no check required, as there is only really one ugly god known to live or frequent Olympus. Hephaestus.
Hephaestus, yeah.
The beautiful god sat next to Hephaestus. Bear in mind, by the way, you can give the same description I gave to you, and so you guys can guess if you wish.
Yeah, I've got my guesses, but if you wanted to have us roll to like lock it in, I can do that, or we can do that stuff as well.
I'm gonna say this. I think based off the descriptions I gave, Willoughby could at least give that much information, so you can go ahead and guess. And if for the ones you're confused on, there can be a roll involved.
Sure. Well, I think, I mean, Juno, I think, would recognize Aphrodite from the sounds of it, especially if she had a hand with Hephaestus as well. She would know the legends about Hephaestus and Aphrodite being married and stuff like that. Ares, we saw
Willoughby
somebody represented. Yep. Okay, Willoughby already had Ares. Dionysus, Athena, definitely those ones which Willoughby recognized. The one that there was one I didn't catch. There was the beautiful young man who was with Dionysus cleaning up. I don't know who that. From the description, it was just I only heard the beautiful young man part. So I don't know if there was any more details we missed on that.
Blonde hair brushed to the side, but mostly just human in appearance. Willoughby, for that one, go ahead and roll. I'm going to say give me a performance check.
Performance check. It sounded like you were about to say something else. Is that just
no performance check to begin with?
Okay. 2.
Phase 1.
Yep.
Kind of look like a human with blonde hair.
Looked like a guy.
Like
just a guy. Based on the fact that Willoughby described them being with Dionysus and like feeding them wine and stuff like that, could me and Draven like possibly make some assumptions based on that? Yeah,
I was going to give you advantage based on the performance check, but you don't have advantage.
Nice.
If both of you want to make a religion, wisdom, or intelligence check,
let's go.
I do.
I got all my good rolls out of the way.
Yeah, you rolled very well during the thing.
Fucking amazing.
You got nearly every
wish I
single
had
one
that
of the
advantage. Yeah. Wish I had that advantage, but
you are not picking it up.
I'll do. You said religion, and we could use intelligence or wisdom. Yeah. And I'm just gonna roll medicine because that's my wisdom.
Can I give you guidance?
You can do, although
definitely give it to Draven.
I'll still take it. I mean,
you have guidance.
He mentioned it before I clicked it, so that was the D4.
Yep. I'll just like try to more deeply
22.
describe what the man looks like.
He's blonde.
He had hair.
You
It was yellow.
you don't focus on the description that Willoughby gives you. You focus on the role. You remember a story.
Yeah.
A man who was in love with Zeus and Zeus vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
And Zeus favored him so much that he invited him, one of the only mortals to ever be given this, to come and live in Olympus to be their cupbearer. His name is Ganymede.
Oh, you know what? There's a good reason I would know him too. Okay.
Cool. That works. That's nice.
That would be Ganymede.
Oh, yes. The stories of the cupbearer. Interesting.
A fool.
Certainly not a fan of Zeus, I'm assuming, by the description.
Well, it is a shitty job. You just hold
Okay.
cops and like.
Hmm.
It seems kind of crappy.
So that was Ganymede. The next one, we saw the Golden Skull mask, the
Yes.
representative, but they were wearing a mask,
Yeah.
so I don't think like there'd be anything there. The older female goddess, who had like you said, like almost like a withered face, like maybe older looking, folding a piece of clothing over and over. My guess is maybe Demeter, because I think Hera is the other one that we saw later on, but I figured that this one could be Demeter, but again, I wasn't sure on this one. I don't know if anybody else had a theorem,
That was my first thought for sure.
but I didn't notice anything like I would have.
Well, they both were mine.
You
Yeah.
mentioned with the Golden Skull mask, is there significance to their involvement in death or the underworld that would be significant to Draven?
Yeah, I mean, Draven's probably like most likely right.
Go ahead and roll. Yeah, give me the same religion, and because I'll give you advantage on this one because technically he gave a I think this was the nat 20 perception check.
I'm gonna keep giving guidance to people when they're doing these rolls, since it's just will be explaining it the way I see it.
So that's a 22 again.
22. You would know that Hades so rarely visits Olympus. There are stories of him being disliked. There are stories of him being made fun of, but probably the most common reason with your association with death is that Hades is the one god who never stops working. For him, it is a vacation to go to Olympus, and it would not be ideal. So he sends what essentially are envoys,
heralds?
like envoys, heralds essentially. They can be any individual that has one favor in their afterlife. They have to come straight back, but his gift to them is, for a moment, you get to walk the surface.
That makes sense.
And so for this is just someone who he sent in his stead to retrieve whatever information they're discussing in this meeting they're having. So no one of
that makes
importance necessarily.
Yeah. Cool.
Okay.
Yep. No, that makes sense. And
That's good. Good to rule it
that's
out.
also significant.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Okay, so who's the lady sitting with the cloth?
The first older lady with the cloth.
Any you're confused on, you can attempt to roll.
Yeah, I definitely like to attempt to roll. I think I definitely would want to try and make a roll on that one. I think.
Yeah.
Check it off my hit list.
Willoughby, go ahead and do a performance check for this one. See if you can grant an advantage, because this one was turned away.
That's a 17.
Hey!
Okay,
Come
well,
on,
17.
that's
Yeah, I'll
good.
give you advantage. Yeah, it's a decent description based on everything
And
and your common knowledge.
Go ahead, Mark.
For guidance, 24.
Yeah.
Hey.
Your instincts seem correct. Demeter seems
Okay.
likely for this
It
one.
is Demeter. Okay, Demeter. Makes sense. And then we get into the upper tier after Demeter, I think. And there was the burning god, the god with the burning bright skin, like the sun, Apollo assumption. And they were the one who had the dagger with the wood made from Yggdrasil, right? From Yggdrasil,
correct.
they had the dagger, right? Okay. And then female goddess with long brown hair interwoven and braided. Hera would be Juno's best guess of the description. I can make a check if you would like to lock that
If you
in.
prefer, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to make that guess anyway. But,
Makes sense, yeah.
Ooh, that's no. So it's an unsure, but Juno thinks it's Hera.
Okay.
What is Hera the god of?
A few things, but specifically, I want to make sure I've got my.
Marriage, right? And
Yeah, let me just get. Because they have tons, so I narrowed it down.
Yeah.
Spite.
Like marriage ladies.
In my one,
that shit.
she is specifically marriage, rulers, and intrigue.
Rulers?
Yeah, rulers. Yeah.
Because of backstory, that might be one that Draven would
Okay.
consider.
I'll give you a straight roll on it.
Cool.
Take the D4 too.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's 20 total.
Safe to say that with her position where she is, her eyes glaring towards Zeus.
Yeah.
This is Hera.
Yep. Oh shit.
Yeah. She was glaring at him because he was flirting with who will
that's
get
not
through.
Yeah,
why
right.
I'm
You
most-
can't bring your
okay.
boyfriend to the
That's
fucking.
Draven's
I'm
like, I
assuming.
got other shit.
Draven makes a. Draven bites his lip to the point that blood starts dripping out when he softly speaks out that that's definitely Hera.
Okay. So when Juno's like, I think it might be here, and he's like, yeah, he's just
Yeah,
like,
he's like, oh, that's her.
okay,
That's
interesting. Is it like a good, like, can I do an insight to see if that's like a angry biting or like some other kind? Because I'm not sure what, this is Mark not quite sure where that's coming from.
You might not have to roll. It looks like a caged animal that got stabbed.
Right. Okay. Like, well, interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Cool. All right. And then after Hera, there was the throne of seashells, muscular with blue beard. Again, I'm pretty sure that's Poseidon. I don't think we need to make a check on it, but I'll let if Joe's like, no, make a check. But I'm pretty sure that's Poseidon.
If you're confident with one, I don't mind. Yeah, it's
yeah.
It's fair to say that you're probably right.
Yeah, it's like that's not even Juno as an icy. That's just all of us knowing Greek. That's like, I'm pretty sure it's Poseidon.
So he's got seashells on his chair. You think it is who? The one that is in charge of the
sea guy.
oceans?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, that
exactly.
makes sense.
Yeah, makes sense.
Draven holds his trident.
Yeah,
So a god of like shells and crustaceans.
Yeah,
Oh,
that would be
I mean,
cool.
yeah.
Like a
Not-
shell god.
Like there was
No.
the
They
bee. There was
don't
the
get a
bee god.
throne of
Yeah, you got a
Yeah.
bee god. Maybe there
they
is a
don't
shell
get
god.
thrones. They don't get thrones at the top of Olympus. They don't get that.
That's shitty.
No, I don't think so. And then the last one, I think, is Juno then would probably look to like Eldred and Lena and Willoughby and be like, and I think.
I just look
visitor
straight at
from-"
Eldred.
Yeah, like.
Do I know how was the face described? A full
Pale.
beautiful face?
Pale, black
Cloak.
hair streaking
Did Willoughby
down.
see the whole
Willoughby
face?
will emphasize
Black
as well
hair.
that they were wearing clothes that didn't look like they were from Mesopotamia.
Leathers.
Did
They were
Willoughby
wearing
see
like
both
cold
sides of
weather
the
and
face?
leather.
They were wearing stuff for like, cold.
Joe,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sorry.
did Willoughby saw both sides of her face?
Yes.
Okay.
And
it
they
was
were
full,
fine.
beautiful face.
Seemed
It
fine.
was.
Okay.
Can she do a thing to her
she
face?
Can, yeah, I bet she can. Whoosh.
Right.
So would I have any idea?
Would you like to roll? Willoughby, go ahead and do a performance check to describe.
Willoughby, can you make the face that she was making? That's what
I
help
don't
us.
have a face.
Oh shit! I'm sorry. I didn't.
It was
mean
definitely
to.
staff.
But
It wasn't
I'll
like a
try
snake.
anyways. And Willoughby's face will not move because he doesn't have one. So you'll get about a 5 in performance on that. Oh, sorry, that was persuasion, but they're the same thing. So
Would Willoughby be able to gauge from what she's wearing if she was from Midgard?
I also have a theory that I want to maybe
Roll.
make a roll for as well.
Roll a. Trying to think what would be a nice textile roll. I would say just give me a general, unless you have a tool for it, just give me a general wisdom check.
yeah, Willoughby only has cartographer tool proficiency. Wisdom, that's a 15.
It was basic cloths and linens and kind of leathers, and some animal pelt in there. Definitely not Mesogaian, but not necessarily Midgardian. Just somewhere with plenty of animals and pelts and the access to cloth.
Black hair with just straight like down.
Yeah.
Not
It was in a hood, so
The
I'd say.
staff.
I mean,
Can I make should I make
Yeah.
a religion check, history check?
Religion, intelligence, or wisdom.
Is it possible that if Willoughby can describe it, Draven can use disguise self to try to mirror what this person loosely looked like?
He described it with a 5, so
That's fair.
I
he
would.
had a
Wisdom
big
would-
moment out there.
24.
All right? He had to-
Willoughby, she didn't even have a nose. What are you
That's fair.
doing?
I didn't clock the nose. Zeus was staring at me by that point. Okay, he was looking right at me.
Okay, that's a good. We'll come back to that in a minute because that's a concern. But sure, let's move.
Wait, like he stared at you? Like he saw you
Was
specifically?
looking at me in the eyes.
Ah,
Okay,
shit,
I don't
yeah,
know.
that's-
I don't know what I looked like.
Yeah.
Thought it was just an invisible thing.
with
That's a 24 on wisdom.
okay 24.
Ooh.
Going through your gods. Dark hair can be common,
Mm-hmm.
and so is the pale skin. However, with a 24, there isn't really anyone that comes to mind that matches the description that you know. I mean, partially Hel, one half of her, is dark
Right.
hair and long and pale skin. But
There is. Oh, go.
of the Norse pantheon, none comes
If
to mind.
it's not one you recognize, Eldred, there is one. I don't know, but given the nature of what's happening in both Midgard and Olympus and Asgard and the world with all the fates, there's one goddess that maybe it could be. She's Mesogaian,
Who is it?
Eris, the goddess of chaos, especially those around war and confusion and disharmony.
Like confusion, right? That she was whispering and like, like, is there a secret, a goddess of secrets, or does she do secrets? That makes sense,
I mean,
right?
maybe, but I just think that, like, if somebody was going to stir up this kind of discord between our worlds,
Yeah.
between everything else, Eris is one that I would perhaps think of. I don't know much about her, I must admit. It's a name that we're not exactly taught of in the academia. It's one that I'm aware of, but I don't know much. But it could be, maybe.
And that is the kind of thing she
if
likes.
it's not an Asgardian goddess, strife, chaos is often
Okay.
something that she's closely connected with, from what I remember.
Hmm.
Not dissimilar to your Loki, maybe. I think, but
And hopefully she's not as shitty, but
more. I don't know. I mean, the stories I've heard of Loki, they're more of a trickster. They are sort of less malicious, maybe. I don't know. Eris is not somebody that you tell funny stories about, from what I know. But again, it's like a name, and I remember her being associated with things, and a description of black hair and a female figure, but I don't know much else, I'm afraid.
and like she didn't Willoughby, she didn't like look like she just wasn't dressed like the other ones, or like she didn't
They
look
were
like
not.
them.
Look,
Do you know what
everyone
I mean?
else wearing togas. Hell, I basically saw Dionysus's schlong. Okay, most of them.
Like
are
you
wearing-
looked for it, or just
I
was
wasn't
there?
looking. It was just that's where Hermes was looking, and I was on his shoulder.
Oh,
right? You'd have
That
to
makes
ask him.
sense, yeah.
Okay,
I
but
don't think
yes, they were not dressed the same as everyone else.
Maybe they've been traveling, or maybe this is somebody trying to disguise themselves.
Joe, I have a question. Would what they were dressed as look like something that someone from Ethela would be wearing?
Roll a wisdom check.
Okay, 15.
Possible. Yeah, you can get those clothes in Ethela, and Ethera and Midgard aren't super far off in terms of fashion, beyond knights in eventually, but in kind of standard.
Looking
Okay, wait a
closer to
minute.
what someone might be wearing in Ethela, more so than also Gaia.
That's an
Okay.
interesting point, yes.
Oh, shit. All right. I have a question too. Sorry. So you said, okay, show me who poisoned Yggdrasil, right? And then it just showed you like almost all of like
Yeah, I kind of got
right.
fucking scammed unless everyone showed up that day, which would make me look like an even worse guard than I already felt like I was that day
Well-
specifically. If every
Well, like, what
god
are you
from
going to
Olympus-
do against an entire pantheon? You're not like.
But also
you know
maybe
what I mean?
maybe
Like,
the
It might be
question,
the last person. It might be that lady.
or it might be that they were
them.
all connected to the poisoning in nature, but not necessarily the ones who
So
did
it's
it. I mean, your
Olympus
question was
that did it. The concept.
well, like they could have all
They could
made
have all
a
had a
plan
hand in it.
together, right? Or they could have been like, let's, fuck Midgard, let's do something, and then,
maybe.
right? Like you didn't like, you couldn't really hear anybody talking or anything, right? It was just like you saw stuff real fast.
Joe, I sent you a
mean-
question.
I wasn't exactly. I didn't really have time. Unless Hermes was trying to talk to them, I didn't clock anything. So no, he had a message to deliver. He walked up to deliver it.
Wait a minute. He had a message to deliver, right? And you said it was Hermod delivered.
Hermod.
So
which means
Hermod-
Odin. Either
Yeah.
Odin sent something to be delivered, or Hermod's gone rogue.
Yeah, but it's Hermod. Is he really got? That doesn't seem necessarily. The case job is just to take the message, not to. Well, that's fucked.
I mean, I've never spoken to him specifically, but he scampered by me a couple of times. He didn't seem like a psycho or any kind of person who would swap sides,
Yeah,
at least
no.
from, again, having
That's what I
barely
mean,
an
right?
interaction with him.
Willoughby, you said that you saw Apollo with a dagger made of Yggdrasil's wood, right?
Yes.
Now I don't know about the nature, but I remember that when we were with Thrud, we couldn't pierce her skin except with only her own weapon, right? Her skin was nearly invulnerable to normal steel. With Yggdrasil, could Yggdrasil be cut by itself? Could maybe that dagger have been connected to the poisoning in some way?
Joe,
Mm-hmm.
I have two questions. One, from what Juno just asked, is that something Willoughby knows about Yggdrasil, that their bark is something that cannot easily be penetrated without, like, a special means or a very specific tool, such as a weapon made out of parts of it?
Yeah. Okay. I can give you general information, or you can roll to get more. Based on what you
I'm gonna
know.
roll to get more.
Okay. Give me a I would say a straight wisdom again.
Nat 20.
Oh,
Hey.
You're one of the caretakers. You spend a lot of time around Yggdrasil. It is said that no normal weapon can pierce its bark. Nothing can cut it away. The Nidhogger is known to be able to chew through it.
Mhm.
But also it can shed its bark. Almost like a skin. It's how it birthed like a vista, technically. The only other people who have ever really penetrated Yggdrasil and broken through it are Brock and Sindri.
that's interesting.
Well, I can certainly tell you that we probably want to make visiting Brock and Sindri somewhat higher on our list. My second question, Joe, is specifically, Apollo was present at the festivals and stuff that Willoughby was also able to observe. During any of those, did Willoughby ever see this dagger? Is it something that existed before, like, shit got bad? Like, could it have been a gift or something?
Roll. Okay. I say I'm going to probably put in a memory stat that you can have, but roll a wisdom check for me. It's going to be basic, just looking through your memory.
Memory check for Willoughby would probably worth doing one of these days. That's 24.
24. You think back to every festival that you can remember. There's a few. On the third one, you remember Apollo having a dagger. Didn't have it in the first two. You might not have seen him as much, but you remember in the third one, a moment when they were walking past You remember seeing the dagger on his belt, but thinking nothing of it at the time. Perhaps a memento that they were being gifted at the time. But he's had it since before the war began.
He's had that. He's had that dagger since long before the war.
Like,
Okay.
I assume they don't just give you a dagger with Yggdrasil's like bark at the hilt, right? Like that seems like a pretty big deal to, like he's not just like, oh, I'm in a souvenir shop, I found this cool dagger. Do you know what I mean, right? Like
It would have been a gift. It would have been something that was given to him. Likely from.
All very good information. Very interesting.
okay.
Well, Willoughby.
Of all the people there, her mother would be the one that would have the easiest access to Yggdrasil,
Yeah.
no?
Do we think he like read the message? Maybe we could just ask him what it
Exactly. I
said.
mean, if nothing else, I'd be very interested to know if Hermod knew what message they delivered.
Well, Hermod is still a god, right, Joe? Like
Yeah.
this is still a god we're dealing with here.
Mhm.
This isn't so we just
Hermod
walk
is
up
the
and be
first
like,
of
"What's
the
up?"
Rakdos, and was. Give me a religion check, Willoughby. I can tell you about Hermod a little bit more.
Well, can't walk up to him yet.
You would know that he is technically the adopted son of Odin. He's not blood related. And Odin is probably the only person that Hermod would never dare to wind up. He consistently annoys and frequents annoying every other god, every other being he can come across. But he is gifted, filled with power. Like he is a god born because of Odin's favor. A powerful individual.
If you're all thinking about stepping up on Hermod and asking him questions, I'm telling you right now, he's going to tear us in half.
Okay, it's good to
He's
know.
going to rip us up.
And I'll tell you this as well.
I don't know you'd really rip us up. He's going to
He's
give
going to
us a lot
rip
of
us up
shit,
like
though.
a rabid creature.
I don't think
Okay.
he
He's
has
also the god of
rabies.
luck.
I don't.
And message.
He's also lucky, okay? So good luck.
I know,
even
which
hitting
is
him.
why we should probably get on his good side, because I feel like we could use some luck in this.
Well, Willoughby, this is very much connected to you. This was your question and very much connected to your purpose here. What would you like to do next?
If I walk into Asgard, which I can't even do anyways, and I say, hey, I think Olympus did it, they're going to kill me. They're going to put me down right then and there, is what they're going to do. So, unless we follow these leads, whatever they are, be
Well, they
it
might
fol-
laugh
trying to
at you
figure out-
first, or like, jeer at you a little bit, and maybe like imprison
They're gonna
you.
laugh. They're gonna say you disappeared for 20 years,
Yeah.
and then
And then you come back and you're like,
they're going
oh,
to crack
yeah.
my neck and kill me. Is
Think
what
they
I
would
imagine.
crack
they'd
your
do.
neck?
I imagine they'd crack my neck, which wouldn't kill me right away, but then I assume they'd just destroy my wooden body.
Yeah, probably.
So, frankly, I kind of still feel like I'm at square one.
Do you know, it's
being
like you
told
got
that
too
it's not-
much
I was
information,
kind of
right?
hoping it would be someone really specific, like Jim.
Yeah. No,
Like
you
if they
saw
told
like
me, like, oh, Jim.
20
from-
people, and now you have to like pick one of 20 people.
20,
We
not
need
just
to,
20
like,
people,
think of it.
20 gods. And
Yeah, but-
I saw one god flying in the sky and ripping other gods in half. And I saw that and I said, there's no way I'm getting involved in that in a million years.
Guess what? Now you
And now
are
I have
involved.
20 of them.
Yeah. That was a
And,
bad. That
20
was bad
million
promise to your own self. Yeah, you shouldn't have
See?
thought that.
The good
What-
news is, it seems like no one in Asgard really cares what I'm up to. So I'm kind of the logic that if we just quietly pursue these things on the side while we're figuring out our other stuff, maybe at one point I could be strong enough with all of you to perhaps stand a chance against a single one of them and narrow down the suspects a little bit. But as
I mean,
things
I'll fight
are,
a god.
I mean, you
Wait
try
a
to
minute.
step up against any god like Hermod, you're gonna get ripped to shreds. Like I said, you're gonna
Zeus?
get torn up.
like saw you? Like did he like is like I'm making eyes at you and you got like back like
It was
here
like-
or
it was
like
like a-
what happened?
It was
Shit,
like
he
a
went
boom,
like that.
Clocked you, boom, clocked you,
Fuck.
get the heck out of here, and then I disappeared.
And
was
he
back
just
here again.
do you think it did it okay? Like did it feel like he was like get the fuck out and he like pushed you out, or were you like shit, time to beat it because somebody saw? Do you know what I mean? Like did you have any
either
control
something
over
like that,
it?
or quite literally, and I'm gonna be a little pissed at the water if it really had to get this whole roundabout walkthrough in order to get me there. If the last person I saw was the reason I disappeared, then perhaps the last person I Clark is the one who literally poisoned the tree. Because I did ask a very literal question.
And the last
Maybe it's
person
not
you
as
saw-
conceptual
Didn't
as we're
ask a
thinking.
question.
But I mean, if I walk into Asgard and I say, "Hey, I think Zeus did it," I think it's going to end the same way I said earlier. I'm going to get killed and put down.
I don't want to freak you out, but I'm going to anyway. Sorry, but like, you don't know what like you looked like or anything, right? You couldn't see your own self. I was just thinking, like, what if now Zeus is like, oh shit, who's that guy? I'm going to
You think I
find
should
him.
change faces? I could take this helmet off and get a new one.
Oh, let's paint it.
I
We
could just
like,
buy a new one. I
yeah,
could buy a
let's
new
get you a
helmet.
different
Like,
helmet.
this one's
That is
pretty
going
old.
to work.
I could just get a new helmet.
Yeah.
I might just get. A...
The next place we go, we'll get you a new helmet. It will be fine.
I mean,
Okay,
obviously-
let's do that because now I am getting a little freaked out. I'm getting a little freaked.
Wait, you still have
obviously
okay.
we don't know for sure, but I would imagine that maybe this wisdom, this water that we drank, this ability that you've seen, you saw the present, right?
Yeah.
I imagine that it's I don't think that maybe Zeus will know you specifically, but it's clear that he was aware that somebody was prying into Olympus, but whether or not he knows it's you, we don't know for sure. But I would be surprised if he did.
I mean, I can't have
This
been
water was from
fully-
Yggdrasil. It's pretty powerful
I
stuff.
wonder if it's
My
like
face
what's-
truly couldn't have been visible, or any of those other gods would have
Yeah,
seen.
they would have reacted,
Zeus.
right? They would have been like, "Who the fuck is this guy? What is he doing here? There's like a tree standing here. That's weird."
But the idea that Zeus could become aware that maybe there was a presence there, maybe aware that something
that's
was
what I
going
mean,
on.
right?
If it was the present, then maybe it makes the most sense that it was Hermes, since it was his point
you
of view
saw
you were
him.
given and
So
pointed into. So it's just like, here you go.
He's
here's
supposed
what
to be
he's
really
doing.
fast,
As
right? Maybe he like
far-
snuck in. Was he at the
Right.
parties?
Oh, he did not need to be fast to get by me. To be clear, you could have been the slowest bastard.
But they
in
didn't know
entirety
that.
of
They would
Olympus
send,
to
you know,
walk
their
right in
fastest
there and
guy.
catch
Maybe they
that-
thought
that
you were
part of
like
Yggdrasil.
super good guard. Was he at the parties? Hermes, did you see like?
Oh boy, no, he was never there. That or he was too fast for me to see.
Or you didn't see him, right? So if it
I
is
mean, I
the
wasn't
present,
like hanging out with people. To be clear, I wasn't hanging out with people. It wasn't like I was at the parties. I was kind of peering at the parties.
right? You were like around the
From
party.
beyond.
So if it is if we said, okay, show us what they're doing right now, it sounds like half of them don't really like each other, or at least don't like Zeus.
Oh,
Yes.
no, yes. I mean, yeah, that's
And
always been
it
the
seems
case.
like we have three main leads, which is the woman next to Zeus, as far as I'm concerned. They're suspicious.
Yeah, for sure.
Something's
She's
off about that.
suspicious. Who is she?
Hermod?
Where's she from?
And
Hermod.
and
And that dagger too.
no, the dagger's fine. I think the
I don't know,
dagger's
it makes me
fine.
nervous.
But it can bring us to Brocken.
So it's Hermod, Hermes, the woman next to Zeus, and perhaps Zeus themselves. But again, Zeus is kind of a non-issue. We're not going to be dealing with Zeus anytime soon.
Yeah, like
Right?
not now, right?
Right?
You
Well,
can't.
you weren't
yeah.
told to get
I
the
was
person
told to
who...
get specifics. I was told to
right.
get specifics.
You just need to bring an
Yeah.
answer or proof or something. You don't need to
Right.
be like, here he is, I've got him.
The problem
Yeah.
is, in hindsight, telling someone that I had a spirit vision where I poured a droplet of a sacred
Right,
fountain
right.
into my eye and then used the blood of a Norn in order to see into
Wouldn't
the...
they feel stupid? They didn't
weirder
think to
things
do
have
that.
happened here.
Like they could have just put a drop of the water in their own eyes. Do you know what I mean? What idiots!
Gods don't think.
That's true.
Wilby looks around to see if he said that in the sight of
Okay.
any ravens or anything like that.
No ravens down here.
Okay. Well, we're not going to figure it out right now, for sure, right? And what? You had another question you wanted to ask, and Eldred, you were pretty quiet. You were thinking about yours.
Yeah,
I'm
I've
processing
got one.
mine, and I got stared down by Zeus. Eldred, if you want to ask your question, I think
Okay.
that would be fine, because we're not leaving until we ask them. All right, those things are going to disappear the second we walk
Yeah,
out of this
that's true.
grove.
Okay. Yeah, what do I have to do?
You need to like put it in your eye,
It
and
depends. If you want to ask a question about the present, then yes, mix the Norn blood with the water and then drop that in and then ask the question. If you want, you can use the water without the Norn blood to ask something beyond just the present. A larger question, perhaps, or a question that's not related exactly to the.
Is that
here
the
and
one
now.
that threatened to go make people go mad?
yeah, if you ask like, if you put the blood in and then you're like, tell me what
Depends on
happened
the
30
question.
years ago, that's a bad one because she only knows present. You have to
Reveal
like
to
be really
me-
specific
Let's
and
see,
ask. Yeah.
Okay.
Or you don't have
Um,
to use the blood. You could just do the water and ask a more broad question.
Yeah, no, I have a present question, so I'll do that one.
Okay. Just remember to frame your question
What?
exactly, or statement.
Yeah. What is the goddess Hell doing?
You drop it into your eye.
Yeah.
Okay. You find your eyes close, and when they open again, you are the same light that was described. If time drifting high into the sky, and then plummets straight down to the ground. You pass through the rock as if it's nothing, like a hand going through sand, weaving in and out every single grain. And then you find yourself in darkness. So it drags along a little while. And then you find underground somewhere, in a cloak, you see the dark hair on one side, the skeletal visage on the other, walking through a long cavern. Hell is following someone. 2 feet ahead of them, holding a torch up. The person ahead of them reaches down and scratches their own back, not letting go of the torch, but it still remains up in the air, floating beside them. They reach their hand and grab it again. The dark cavern they're walking through right now is magnificent. A couple 100 feet high. Massive. The torch barely lights over the area, and they're both wearing these long black cloaks, and hell follows. As the person in front turns and says, "Not long now." The face of Loki. As the two of them drift through a cavern, deep beneath the ground somewhere. Hell looks around and continues to follow her father before you're brought back up into your body.
Okay, so Hell is below the ground. I wouldn't say necessarily in hell, but in a cavern.
Well, we know she's not missing, right? Oh, that is good.
No,
No?
but she seems to be led by Loki down a hall.
Caverns below the.
He said not long now.
A hole under the ground? Like
Yeah.
a
Long cavern.
How expansive was this cavern?
Quite tall, quite long.
Joe, is there any
I-
like knowledge Wilby would have from like just a background of cartography of like large cave networks beneath?
Give me a
Midgard?
cartographer's check.
I will do
If it queries
Yeah.
you, yeah, there you go.
26.
There are only a few places in your known memory which have caverns which can become that big without collapsing. There might be some in Muspelheim, where the giants tread. There might be others in Jotunheim. But the most commonplace caverns like that, deep beneath the ground, is the realm of the dwarves, Svartalfheim.
Well, with how large these caverns are that you're describing, it sounds like Svartalfheim. Maybe Muspelheim. Maybe.
okay.
Joe.
Well, don't we want to? We could maybe go see the sons of whoever the fuck in Svartalfheim.
He did not mention that because he knew we would get distracted. I want to clarify that. He said he figured out places to go.
Wait, what?
Draven didn't mention specifically the song of Ingvar.
By the way, I misspoke. It's Ivaldi. Yeah, it's Sons of Ivaldi. Yeah.
Invaldi. I had written it down and I was like, no, he said it
Yeah.
wasn't that. Invaldi.
Joe, could I see his facial expression, or at least her half facial expression,
Yeah, give me an insight check.
to see how she was feeling? 21. Oh, camera.
Interesting. Nervous. She looked unsure. But they're building up to something.
I had one question. Sorry, go on, Brizzy.
She seemed nervous or unsure.
Did Loki seem like he was having to talk her into it, or like was he like, "Come on, let's go"? Do you know what I mean? Like, what was their
You know,
interplay?
he seemed playful, encouraging, mysterious. Not along now. Oh.
Okay, yeah, that is kind of the deal. Okay, well, I think that I don't know. It's good to know that we know where she is at this moment, even if we don't know what she's doing.
Joe, when Eldred, was describing the caverns and like the sheer size and everything going on, and you know, always be thinking, is based on like anything that Juno's read or like what they've been taught, what is the underworld of Mesogaya like? Is it kind of like a giant underground as well, or is it more supernatural? Like, you know, sometimes you see in games it's more spooky and ghosty, or is it more like a kind of underdarky, cave kind of like world?
Give me a religion in wisdom check.
Okay. Oh, also, I rolled a 1 on an ability score earlier, and because of my new philosophy, that means I get inspiration.
Hey,
That's
and
true.
I will spend it on that roll now because I might as well spend it while I got it.
Go, go,
That
go!
was an 18. I'm just gonna spend it now. It's on ability checks only. I don't get it on
Yeah,
attack
right.
rolls and saving throws.
So, 18, yeah? I think.
Yeah.
Wow. It is safe to say that the underworld in Mesogaya
Mm-hmm.
has places of very massive caverns. In fact, Erebus, which is a land of darkness, the realm where Hypno sleeps, and is a portion of the underworld which very few are put to rest in. It's mostly there for the lost. Everyone else goes to the Asphodel fields or even Elysium if they're credited by the gods. But Erebus is a dark land and one massive, massive cavern.
And that could potentially match up to what Eldred described, maybe.
Pretty safe
I
to
might
say,
look
couldn't it?
over it. I might look at Draven as like Juno's kind of thinking, and say, Draven, based on what Eldred described, this cavern, I know it's much more likely that this Hel and Loki are in their own realm in this Svartalheim, but I mean, just based on what I've heard, is it possible that they could be in a place like Erebus in the underworld? I don't know how much you know of the underworld itself, but I know that you have relations with certain individuals that may frequent it, but I don't know if it's if you agree that might be a place that they could have been.
Joe Draven is pretty underworld focused. Would you say that he would have an idea about that?
What kind of idea are you trying to guess from it?
Because Mark, you're trying to gauge if it's possible that they were in.
Yeah,
the
like could they
Mesogaia
have?
underworld.
Could they get there, or like is it like does it sound like?
Could they get there?
Yeah,
Yes.
or describe it. Okay, right. So,
I have
but maybe
no
it's like
doubt they could get
from the
there.
description, would Draven kind of be like agree, kind of almost be like because I think Juno's like
Fair enough, yeah.
she's like maybe it could be, but like she's not sure, so she's looking to Draven to be like, you know more about this than I do. Does that sound like it? Like I've got an idea, but I want to check with somebody who's probably been there. Like, and Juno definitely hasn't. So that's the kind of thing I'm going for.
That makes sense. Yeah. So would that be a religion check?
Yeah, you can.
Confirm. Yeah. 14.
It's not a high DC. Safe to say
Yeah.
that it's a fair enough thought, and it could possibly be there. Yeah, and the underworld has many entrances into it. A lot of them lost in time, but safe to
So
say.
it is possible.
I know it's more likely that Svartalheim is where it is, but it just struck me that it could be.
I don't know, Loki is sneaky, right? It could.
I'd be more shocked, personally, because if they're wandering the underworld of Mesogaia, and Hades has not left, there's almost no way Hades wouldn't know. And hypothetically speaking, if this is all connected, that would mean that most likely Loki is working in conjunction with them.
It's
Which-
not a.
Not out of the idea, but from what I know, Loki is much more about himself and disorder. So to
He will
work
play a
with-
long game. So if he has an idea in mind, he is okay to buckle down and make it happen.
I believe
Something
it, but
to
I don't.
consider.
I don't think Hades would be patient enough for that. Is my
Eldred,
An option to consider, but
when you.
unlikely one.
So it was a cavern, like, I don't know how to ask this. Did it look like it was just like naturally a cavern, right? Or did it look like carved? Was it like a paved path? Like, could you see anything? Do you know what I mean? Did it look like any of it was built, or was it all?
Joe?
Yeah. Natural cavern, for the most part. It was dark, very dark, except for the light that was kind of around you.
Okay. Well, do we have any questions left? I can't remember.
We do. We
Toby has one more.
two.
Is that
Or
the
no, we
last?
have one.
The last one? Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
All
The
right.
last one.
Well, I know that we can. I know I can get easily distracted, and I know Willoughby has one more question. And then, are we still planning to deal with these shifters and the Amanita?
I
That's what we
swore
want
I
to do.
would come back.
I
And
We're
think.
going. If we're going north, right? We're going that way. We
I
have to
don't-
go
I mean,
back to do this.
I will do it, but-
Holtigor is fucked.
I think it is shitty to just write off Holtagor. I think we know that there is a child of the mother of monsters there, and we could potentially do something about it, and it isn't that far. I don't think it is.
It's farther than Svepir is.
I don't even think we needed to go back to Svepir to talk to the shifters. So, I mean, I don't like. I'll go back. That is fine. But I think we heard that there was something going in Holtagor. We're like, oh, let's go to Holtagor, check it out. Oh, wait, it's what? No, just kidding.
I suggest a new idea, and you all stop me if this seems a little too bold. Perhaps we simply decide where we're going to go in the present right now and try not to think too far ahead with our plans, because it seems like things keep happening to get in the way of those plans anyways, and then we end up burning a lot of time talking about where we're going next, and then
I am
some
very happy
horrible
to agree with
thing
that,
happens.
No,
So
I think that's right, and I think that we did agree to go to the shifters first. I think we continue with that plan, and then after that, we then decide. Even if it means we have to double back to Holtagor or whatever we decide, let's decide that after we
If
deal with the
Holtagor is a
shifters.
priority,
I'm not saying it's a priority. I'm saying that I think we should take care of it. I think now that we know what it is, I feel like we have a bit of a responsibility. We wanted to have a responsibility to take care of Jula. We want to have a responsibility to take care of Elfheim. When we walk by it, we see something is going on. We're trying to get the boons.
We have some horses.
It makes sense.
If we have to double back, we can double back.
Yeah, no, I'm fine with that. I'm just saying that, like, I'm not going to just leave it as a loose thread that is hanging out.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I personally am happy to go to the shifters now, and then as Willoughby says, we decide that next step once we've dealt with that problem. Otherwise, I know that I will get distracted with a million other things, so I think that that's a wise idea for now.
Yeah.
sounds like everyone's in agreement then. Well, I have one more question to ask that's a little bit more personal towards me, so if you all don't mind, I'm going to get that underway.
Do you want us to step away? Do you want to, like,
I mean, it
do
doesn't matter.
privacy
It's
for
not
it?
like all of you can see what I see. I'll tell you if it matters. It doesn't
Yeah,
really
definitely
matter
can't
to
see
me.
what you see.
And a
What was
punch
that?
will be in it.
What?
What was that?
What?
Will we take a step away from Eldred?
Oh, what? One there.
Joe, was his name Sula? The roach?
Jula.
Jula. Draven is gonna go then check on Jula.
He's just kind of sat over next to the corpse of the giant, kind of almost sat on the back of its leg. Ew.
I don't want to talk to him. I was just gonna go keep. If he talks, I'll talk back. But I was.
He just said it all.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm a roach guy.
And he just goes, no.
Hey, I'm Jula. Forget about it.
So, remind me the rules for because it's been a week, like looking into your past and asking a question about something that happened in the past.
So you don't have blood of the past, right? In terms of the reason that the present's blood worked in the way it does is because at one point her body was capable of seeing all things at once, everything that was happening in that split second. When you're looking inside yourself, it's almost like, if I was to ask you right now in real life to remember where you put the channel changer when you were 6 years old and you moved across the sofa, right? It'd be a ridiculous memory to try and call upon. But with this droplet of wisdom, you might be able to remember that if you're going from memory. If you're trying to work out something which is more logical, it will basically activate every part of your mind to kind of focus on it. It puts you into overdrive. So it won't give you information that you wouldn't know, but it might give you clues towards information you wouldn't know, as it's you're basically going into a full kind of detective mode. If it's based on your
Sherlock
memory,
mode.
yeah, Sherlock mode.
Okay.
Shit, here we go.
But if it's going for memory,
Mind
then
palace.
the better you do, the greater the chance that the memory will be
Willoughby's
recalled.
question is extremely specific in that during the time of his death, he was charting out the routes of Yggdrasil and the various pathways to planes that were not commonly traveled. So not like the known route to Alfheim, the things that are off the beaten path. That was the map he was trying to make. The question that he wants to ask, or that the information he's trying to get from the droplet right now, is did he take a wrong turn or did this portal change? Because he, to his knowledge, was taking a portal that he had charted before.
Okay.
He was returning home
This is going to be a
from
memory check then, yeah.
when he died.
Okay.
And to his knowledge, he was taking a path he had already mapped.
Okay.
When it killed him. So this will be a flat wisdom.
Yes. And what we're going to do is we're going to treat the droplet of wisdom as a plus 10. It's got a high DC. What you're rolling.
Yeah, but you're rolling.
Can I guidance myself?
I'll allow you guidance yourself. It's got a
I'll
high
guidance
DC. Because you're trying to remember the very, very specific moment. If you fail the DC, there will be some other information you can
That's a
potentially get.
25
Okay.
plus. So that's a 27.
27. Your mind expands. You think back to that moment that you were traveling through your charted territory. The maps you made beneath the world, beneath the roots. Finding hidden paths that led. The strange thing about Yggdrasil is that you could travel for 5 miles on the top side and only 100 meters down below, but still travel the same distance. The routes often didn't make sense. They could speed up your travels, and so you'd be able to cover great bounds of distances. That also meant that the routes weren't heavily complicated when you were using the ones that you were familiar with. With the 27, you think back to that time. You try to recall the memory so many times in your head, but the trauma of the situation has been distracting. I mean, you fell into lava. Your mind would go straight to that. The moments leading up to, you've imagined all sorts of different ways, but it's almost like your mind is working in reverse now. You feel yourself hovering above the lava. Time has paused. And you feel yourself floating upwards. You're taking in every bit of information around you. No, undoubtedly, this was Muspelheim, where you landed. And you find yourself back into the roots, like a tunnel system that was wrapping through, but 27 is not high enough to tell you exactly the information, but it is high enough to tell you. Your roots wouldn't have taken you through Muspelheim. That road was wrong. And unless a new route grew, something, whether it be Yggdrasil or some other being, changed that path and that route that you were so familiar with. It was altered on purpose.
Okay.
It was no accident.
I think when Willoughby comes out of that vision, he is extremely quiet and doesn't share any right now. If anyone can feel free to insight check to try to clock it, but I think it's very obvious that he saw something that he was worried about, or that he already knew but told himself couldn't have been the case. And now he's kind of rethinking, like, you know, because he had always said, like, oh, you should have killed me, but he never really believed
it.
that there was a malicious intent or a malicious force that could have killed him in that moment. So he looks like he's going through it.
I'll kind of look at him. We'll start to get ready to go. And you're ready? This okay?
Yeah. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go.
You sure you don't want to take a minute? It's okay.
No,
Take a minute.
I'm ready to go.
All right, let us go then. Go to Svepir, get you a different helmet.
Yeah.
All right.
On the way out, I want to look for the little throwing star thing that the one guy threw at us. See if I can find one on the ground.
Yeah, you'd be able to find one.
All right.
I mean, Juno can probably point them out because I was throwing them in the.
Hey, you
I
threw
was,
those
like,
back,
catching
yeah.
one and throwing
Which way
them,
did
like,
you
in the
throw
grass.
them?
Oh, I put one here and I threw one over there. And, yeah, I kind of just threw them away when he threw them at me. All right. Draven, do you know where this camp is that we need to head to, or do we need to head to Svepir first and then go from there? Or
It is north of Svepir. It is the Eagle Clan.
okay. I feel good taking point on this and leading the way, and then we'll follow, I think.
Comfortably so. Honestly, I'm sure that they would find us very quickly.
All right.
Hunters don't always
Let's
like
go.
when people are in their territory.
Should we be expecting a fight, or is this...
I don't think so. I told them to expect me.
Okay. All right.
Are our horses still outside of the thicket?
Yeah, if you're traveling back up that
They're
way.
all gone.
Yeah, if you're traveling back up that way, you'd find that the all of the corpses in the kind of area before where you are now, as it has been a little while, are gone. The blood is kind of soaked up, and the corpses have clearly been dragged into the woodland.
All right.
The
Nice.
way up, though, you get to the top, and the horses are chewing from grass that continuously grows. Comfortable. All of them just kind of trotting and grazing, whilst
Okay.
the two guardians kind of trying to mend their own wounds. And you see as they open up for you, allowing you to exit.
Okay.
Willoughby, you can roll an insight check. As someone who is also plant life, you can kind of almost get a
I'm
gauge.
gonna roll
of
this at
things.
disadvantage because Wilby's not paying attention.
Oh, buddy.
24 regards.
Mhm.
Oh my
Maybe it is the fact that you are sad.
But be aware.
Maybe it is the fact you are sad yourself, and so you get this familiar kind of feeling of like sorrow coming from the trees. The kind of idea that though you save them from being killed and being cut down and destroyed, the droplets of wisdom were the greatest nourishment that this woodland could ever ask for. Now that they're gone, it's a case of returning to the normal life of trees and slowly fading back into normality. And so there's kind of a sorrow to the trees. They bow respectively. They kind of stand tall and just wait.
Yeah, Wilby'll like nod back and keep walking. Doesn't say anything.
Okay. So, your horse is here. What would you like to do?
I am a tiny squirrel again.
Okay. You become to a tiny little squirrel. I take it you're riding north?
Hmm.
Okay,
Let's
what kind of pace
go.
are you going at?
Horse pace?
I mean, like a moderate. Well, what time of day is it?
Good question. I think you actually arrived here very early. You
Yeah.
haven't
we
rested.
booked it here.
Yeah, you haven't
Yeah.
rested.
Yeah.
We've only taken an hour as well for a short rest.
We,
so-
we could go at like a moderate pace because as long as we're not trying to beat nightfall, I feel like we're in good shape.
Oh yeah, no. If anything, the day's coming. You stayed up all night. You're
Yeah.
starting to get tired. There will be exhaustion stacks coming in soon.
Yeah.
By the time you get
Alright.
to Svepe, you'd have one stack of exhaustion from staying up all night and fighting.
So I say we go to Svepir, might as well just long rest to avoid exhaustion. Draven mentions that he will send his sprite into the woods to essentially try to find them and send a message that the oak-skinned, long-haired figure with fangs that released the others is looking for them once more. And if the sprite dies because they try to eat it, well, still know where they are because I can send it back again.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you want me to send a message as well? Send it
If you're
to
able
higher
to.
chance we find someone.
That'd
Yeah,
be
we'll send an
incredible.
animal messenger to go with the same direction as the sprite
Okay.
and break off when we get closer to where they should be
Awesome.
with the details of looking for that.
Okay.
Those
Okay.
people.
All right. So heading to Svepir first to drop off. Are you going to drop off the horses?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they rented
We
a
bought-
horse. We
Rented
rented one horse, right? Because then I've got
Yes.
Zappelli. I had Zappelli,
Yeah.
so I think we partnered up. So I think like it was like me and Eldred. And
Yeah,
then
we were
Squirrel.
short one,
Yeah.
I think,
Yeah.
which is why I
Yeah,
scrolled it.
Willoughby was wild shaped.
You've wild shaped as well. Yeah, I figured that we do the same. Also, we've got the inn in Zvepir, right? As well. The we can actually stay there rather than anywhere else.
Which might be interesting to check on.
Or we can let them know that we
On Edna.
killed that other dude that stabbed his lady up, stabbed the Norn lady up.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Good question, actually.
By the
Before
time
leaving.
what time is it when we
One second,
get
one second,
to
one
Svepir?
second. Because we got to go back. Coming out of the forest. What about me?
Yep, I knew it.
Yeah,
I knew it.
I forgot about this
I
guy.
knew it.
Fuck, we did tell him we'd take care
Willoughby
of
was
him.
sad,
Fuck.
man. We had other stuff to focus
I'll take him. Whatever. I've adopted this child.
Well, we did say that like we were going
We
to take them
said
to
we'd take 'em to
Alfheim, right?
Alfheim.
And the routes of Alfheim aren't far, so we could go there first and then go to Zvepir after the routes.
This is why I said never plan on anything more than one step ahead, because there's always a
Smart.
fucking detour to take.
But hopefully this will literally be we take Juva to the
Well,
route,
we
we
got
kick
to
him in the
kill him.
portal, and then we go to Zvepir. Like, see you later, Roach Boy. Like, bye.
There's a guy, he
forget our
sells
names.
apples. You're
Never
going
talk
to
to
love
us again.
them.
So you do
Also,
that
look
after you
for
rest
our
or before you
friend
rest?
Guru.
But do we still want to do that?
I think we got. I mean, we said.
Well,
keep
or
him.
we take
keep
him,
the little
or
roach guy.
if we're in a hurry to get to Svepir, then we just take him with us
I think we might as well
there,
take
and
him.
then
We
like,
could keep
do
the
it
roach
after.
guy.
Do you know what I mean?
We
Like,
said we didn't necessarily promise we'd take him to Alfheim so much as we promised we'd
Willoughby,
protect.
you look sad. Would it help you to keep Jula around? Do you want to like have a little mascot?
I go on.
Question. What did you just ask me? Did you just ask me if it would cheer me up to
Do
have
you
a
want to like,
mascot
yeah? Do you want to have like a mascot?
a mascot
killer.
roach boy?
Look at him.
All of you.
I vote that we keep him around, but only if Joe gives him that like, "Hey, New York, I'm."
You gotta give him
keep
the.
him if he has that voice.
You can keep him.
You guys don't want this. All right, we're gonna end up with like an ick. part
Jula,
two
have you been to
fucking
Alfheim
situation.
ever?
It's a weird
What if we just tell him Svepir's Alfheim?
He hasn't been to Alfheim.
No, you're really going to love it. There's a manita everywhere. I'm joking. I don't.
Alfheim
Lena just wants to convince him that the mushroom land is Alfheim.
Oh my god.
I'm
you all
just
were-
saying, if you're in a hurry, we just are like, no, this is Alfheim. It's
I
great.
want to
You
be
love
clear that
it.
Do not link
Willoughby
me
didn't
and,
actually
me
say
and
that
Brizzy
character.
in
He's
this.
not involved in this. This is like.
I know. I said I didn't
He's
really say it.
checked
I'm
out right
joking.
now.
Draven looks to Jula and says, "There's something I need to do first, but I've given you my word and I commit to that.
Excuse me.
Your safety is my responsibility as long as you are at my side."
Okay.
Boom.
How do I climb on this thing?
He looks at the horse.
I pick him up and put him on.
Okay, sure, yeah.
You find a stump. You walk
Rips
the horse
on.
next to it.
I'll probably motion for Eldred like. You can ride with Gabe and the Roach Man, or you can ride with Juno.
Why did you say Gabe?
Oh, sorry, yeah.
I thought we had.
Roach Man.
I thought
You can
Eldred
ride
had
with
her own
Draven and the
horse.
Roach Man.
I thought it was Eldred, Draven, Juno,
don't
right?
think so.
Had horses.
I think we just got
thought
the
we bought-
one.
We just got
horse.
one horse.
Because
It was
you were wild-shaped and
originally
Willoughby was wild shaped. Yeah.
Yeah,
it was
I was
originally
dying.
Eldred, but yeah.
Willoughby's not
Oh,
the point yet in
fine.
his life as a druid where he's willing to let people ride on him
No,
like a
yeah.
fucking animal.
But he could become an animal.
Just
and
waiting for
ride
that
on
cart.
Someone else.
Wild shape, man. Someday.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll just-
Juno.
I'll
Okay.
just put this.
He's with you when
first
you
man-
ride in Svepir.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it's just fucking weird. God, it's just a man.
He's
He's
less
not
of
a
a
man. He's like a roach man.
Even Joe's like, no, he's a gross roach man.
Yeah,
It's
he's
a-
a
that's-
roach dude,
when
he's
you're
a
dealing
total
with a
roach dude.
roach boy, all right? You're dealing with a roach boy.
That's true.
Jula, how
True.
old are
He
you?
does
Are you a
secrete.
grown man? Are you a child? What is I'm kidding. You don't say that either. Tell me about your
I'm
life
11
cycle. I'm
days.
super interested.
So you arrive in Svepir, head over towards the inn, and push inside, and you would see Ashlar behind the bar. Kind of talking and passing out drinks. You could see coming over near him as well, kind of directing him what to do, with bandages on her hands. Izidna. And she's directing, no. When they ask for this, you have to do. And then their eyes see you as you come through. Ashlar kind of kisses her on the hand and walks round. Also towards your group and says, You're not welcome.
If that's the case, we'll move on, but
All right.
You caused this.
I would like to let you know, and I don't want to speak for the others, but the person who did it has paid the price. We've made sure of that.
You got them.
We did.
Yes.
But
Edna walks
that's
round.
not...
No. Ashla, my love, you haven't finished serving the drinks to them. He kind of looks towards you, looks towards her. I'll be fine. Go. He walks back towards the bar, but keeps his eyes on all of you at the same time. She looks across you. He might blame you, but I do not. The truth is that I was naive to think that. And she kind of shuffles you away from the door so others can come in. I was naive to think that I could live my life without anyone realizing my past. Ironically, my past is my present. And you were looking to do the right thing. And you saved the love of my life. I appreciate that you have dealt with whoever put me to misuse. It's kind of you. In truth, we just have to be more careful. But I am glad that you pursued it. It was not something you had to do.
Do not take all the responsibility. Our paths have crossed here and it is connected. I don't wish to seek forgiveness from you or him. If he wishes to blame us, that is his choice. And I understand it. To see the ones that you love, the ones that you cared about hurt, I would be angry too. But I wanted to at least let him know, and you, that they're no longer going to be a problem for you, hopefully. And, yes, and...
Did you get the answers you seek?
I'll look around the group.
Sam?
That is very much the way of fate.
It was it always like that for you?
I don't remember all of it, but I do remember this. For every answer we got, 10 more questions were opened up. It is why it is an endless job. But do you know how much I've had to think about today? I had to clean up a stain that was poured last night. I had to refill the keg in the back. And I had to buy fruit, because some of ours was starting to go a little rotten. That is it.
A simpler life.
A happier one. I hope the same for all of you. Ask less questions sometimes. Seek less answers. Just smile more. You're welcome to stay here. And of course for free.
I'll kind of look around at the group. I'll say, well, I will be paying for my room. I barely have any use for this
You
Midgardian
paid
coin
already.
as it is.
You paid for every room for the rest of your life. When you brought Ashla home.
That's very kind. Thank you.
It's not kind. It is right. Now, you will have to pay for your drinks, though. I'm not looking to lose out on all the money.
Now, that sounds like a fair compromise to me. I'm happy to do so. And I would very much like a drink, actually.
Good.
Oh, wait. Sorry. Hang on. I'm going to go into my bag. I forgot I have this. I'm going to take out the melon-sized apple that is alcoholic.
Okay.
We had to go to Do you like apples? I don't. We had to go to Alfheim, and there was like this apple vendor, and I got caught up in the moment. I bought a few apples. Apparently, this one is alcoholic. You saying the drinks just reminded me, like, I don't know, might like it. You might be able to make like a fun drink with it. You should take it.
Try something with it.
All right.
Each of you. And she
No, I
takes
meant
off.
for you.
No, I couldn't. And she walks around to Ashlar, kisses him on the cheek, whispers something to him. And he looks across to all of you. And he lets out a sigh and nods his head. And goes to pouring several ales. She begins carefully cutting up the apple, squeezing and then pushing it onto the side, almost like a little cocktail. It creates a kind of a... It's an ale infused with this kind of apple, and it becomes more of a...
It's cute.
It's almost like a cider in its kind of flavor, but it's stronger and kind of a little bit zestier. And she makes one of each for all of you.
I had this idea that they were going to cut the melon-sized apple in half and do one of those like watermelon vodka.
Oh, that'd be good.
Like,
that would be good.
so I had that.
Here you go. There's like 6 straws.
Just like party, like complete, getting absolutely smashed.
That'd be great.
But yeah,
She pulls out a little paper umbrella.
Yeah, nice.
Oh shit.
But you have a series of drinks. You can just knock off a couple of silver pieces. 3 silver. Okay. Is there anything you want to do before you rest up?
Is it like dead of nighttime? Is it like
No, midday. You guys.
midday?
Yeah,
Okay.
you guys travel throughout the night.
Before we rest, Willoughby reminded me this. Last time we were in Svetberg, I wanted to do this and I forgot. I know there were shops in Svetberg. We don't have to actually do this, but I would like to see if I can find any like a slight armor upgrade because I just have standard.
Okay. Let me get
Join the
the-
club of realizing you have
Yeah.
mortality and will
I never
die
had
if
to
you
worry
get
about
hit.
it before. Now I'm like, all right, fine. Also, I'll see if they have cool helmets for Willoughby, just in case.
Okay. Let me just find my Sveper sheet to see the shops. Okay. So like an armor shop, yeah, an armor smith. Okay.
Yeah, I guess I have
Mhm.
regular leather armor, so whatever is, I don't know, you guys, I don't know about armor.
Okay. Yeah.
How does armor work? What's armor?
Studded leather, probably.
You can go to a little armor shop called Grits.
Alright.
It's an amenities shop. This guy is kind of... You can see he's kind of got all like... As you kind of go into a shop, he's got a bunch of like pores that open up. And he's kind of more of a kind of a spraying fungal amanita. And you see his kind of hardened face, very small in the center of his face. Or center of his kind of body. Doesn't really have like a... He's basically kind of like almost like a pear with arms and legs. And but upside down pear kind of thing. You can see he's inside his shop. There is no forge. There is no forge. There is no anvil. There's no kind of equipment like that. You can see he's growing armor. And you can see he's kind of going to each of these kind of like little like flower pots areas, and growing out of stems is this kind of mushroom fungal armor. So he can kind of grow off of that, and he cuts into it, looks across to you as you come in. All right, what can I do for you?
I don't laugh. The armor shop, I'm going to try to get, something a little tougher than this.
Yeah.
Maybe also helmets for my friend.
Helmet for your friend. What measurements is he?
He said it's like this big.
Right.
Hang on. I'm going to try to make my head look like Willoughby said.
Okay. Hands it.
Oh, sorry. Don't freak out.
He goes up to you. No, it's fine. You don't freak out either. And he walks over to the side and he gets this kind of mushroom
Okay.
cap. And he puts it on top of your head when you're on Willoughby's head. And he pushes it around. And kind of push it. And you feel your face kind of suffocate for a
like a
second.
putty.
Right? Yeah. And you see him kind of shape around. And he pulls it off and it goes back to the cap size. And he goes and puts it to one side. All right. And the armor's for you, I'm guessing.
Yes, please. And just like this size.
Okay. And he walks around, gets another one of them, and then wraps it around your body. Kind of measures it around your arms, and wraps this kind of fungus around your arms. Kind of almost this mushroom cap all the way around your body. And then pushes it in, and you feel it kind of tightens against your chest. Don't worry, it loosens up once you grow it. All right. And it pulls it off again. Puts it to one side. All right.
Okay, that's
I'll
pretty
get
cool.
that done for you. You're going to be here in the next 8 hours.
I don't. Well, we're going to rest. Yeah, maybe. Otherwise, I'll pick it up after. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
Okay.
I'll be
Oh,
done
wait.
in about 8.
Oh, okay. All right. Sounds great. I will come back then.
Okay. Before I do this, though, the gold first, please. 80 gold.
80 gold. 80 gold. It was pretty cool. Okay, fine. I'm going to hand him 80 gold.
Right. Takes it. He moves to the side and places it down. And you see this, like, kind of almost like these little branches grow over the gold. All right. I'll get to work on it.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anything else?
Willoughby wouldn't be with the rest of the group. He would be a little bit outside of Svepir.
Okay.
Specifically because when he died, he lost all of his maps. And I think knowing he lost anything that was on him.
Mm-hmm.
And he hasn't had the opportunity to ever return back to his original home. And it's been hundreds of years, so that place is likely gone. However, what Willoughby does know is that from his memories being rejogged from using this droplet,
Mm-hmm.
I think what Willoughby, in a sort of state of despair and confusion, would try to the best of his memory, alone in the woods outside of Svepir, try to essentially recreate a map from memory to the best of his abilities back to the point of where he died from Yggdrasil. While it might not be a one-day project, I think that's something he would want to start.
Okay.
Because he had as close to a picture-perfect sight line of what was around him from what he perceived as the best memory he could have. Whether or not that's truly one-to-one or not, I think that the headspace he's in right now is he needs to do something to find out more about what actually happened.
Okay. Yeah, this will take a little while, but give me a cartography check.
I believe in you.
That is a 21.
Okay. You start the mapping process. You realize starting from the beginning is the toughest point. It will only get easier. It's like building a puzzle. You are finding the corner pieces currently. But eventually this will get easier. And right now, 21 is a good enough start. In the equivalent of making a puzzle, you have found a corner and one piece that attaches to it. A good foundation to start rooting the roots of Yggdrasil.
I imagine that this is conceptually the closest thing that I have for my subclass as what my druid subclass gets for the star map.
Yes.
Is him recharting the roots of Yggdrasil.
Really, I like that.
Yeah. Cool. Okay.
Makes way more thematic sense as well.
Mhm.
For
Yeah. Very, very thematic.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else before you rest up?
Yeah. If we're, I guess, sitting there having drinks or whatever, Eldred, what do you like? Okay, like I listen to Nell right now, and when we got to the ticket, they said, "Well, Julia, you were right there, right?" You said, "Well, the boundaries. It's like easier to get out of hell now." And that's how Ingra got out. Like, well, I asked the water, I said, where is my daughter? And I saw there's a place in hell, maybe you have heard of it. It's called like Hevat, and it is, I don't know, it's like, I don't know, do you know anything about it? Like, do you know what, like, wait, like, what if I could go there?
Do I know about Tevat?
Yeah, roll a religion check with wisdom. This is essentially a death check.
Religion with wisdom. So this will be this plus 4. 21.
21. Havat is what is known as the warmest place in hell. The nicest portion of hell. Helheim is not necessarily it's a prison in terms of for the souls, but it's not necessarily a terrible place. You're not necessarily tormented for going to hell. You just didn't make it to Valhalla. You're not rewarded. You just exist. You drift. You focus on your afterlife. Havat is probably the only place that is nice. The only place that is built for people that are hell favors. And hell being kind of a lost child herself, all children end up in Havat. A comfortable portion of Helheim. Very rarely are there adults there. It's mostly kind of almost like a Lost Boys kind of situation. It's designed as a place for children to live in innocent freedom for all eternity. To escape it is not necessarily something you would know about, but it's in Helheim. And you know people have escaped Helheim.
I know it to be the most comfortable place of hell. Hell in general is meant to be not discomfortable for the dead, but Havat especially is for, I suppose, the soul's hell feels especially sorry for and wants to make more comfortable. In theory. And if you can go to hell, you can get out. People have. The not Ravnan did.
I think you have to be a child to get in to Havat, or you can just go in anyway.
Most, if not all, seem to be children, but I don't know if that's a rule.
Okay. Well, we have other things to do, and I guess I know where she is, so it is okay. Good to know.
I would like to make our way that way someday, when we're ready.
Yeah. I would have gone with you anyway.
It to be as comfortable as they tell us it is.
We can at least check for ourselves, right?
Yeah.
Deal.
Okay. Do you want a long rest?
Please and thank you.
Okay. Resting down in a tavern. It'd be early evening by the time, well, probably mid-evening by the time you awake. Your sleep schedule's all off, but your body's restoring. And you wake to the sun setting outside. And so we're going to go ahead and take a 5-minute break and come back and see what you do for the rest of the episode. All right, go and refill your drink. Let's use the loo, and we'll be back in a few minutes. All right, see you guys soon. Okay, chat, I'm back. We'll be unmuting in just a minute. Okay, let's bring this music down. I'll bring this one back up. And hello, hello.
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 Okay.
I'll text it.
Hello.
There's never enough time.
Hello.
Never enough time.
We're headed towards the third option for upgrading technically in Burka. So.
Right. Yeah.
So,
Gotcha.
you wake up before heading out after your 8-hour-long rest. Is there anything you want to do before heading out, Svepit?
Yes. But I will let everybody else go.
Well, Willoughby and Draven would have sent out their messengers
I've got them
before,
ready.
so cool.
Yep.
Um,
Wilby would not have returned to the inn overnight. I think
Okay.
he would have just stayed out there. He has no reason to use the inn anyways. So
Then at similar times, your animal messenger would return, and so would your sprite. They would both convey the same message. Toward the mountains in the north, the clan of the bear is ready to meet you.
Was it Clan of the Bear or Clan? The Eagle Clan was the one that
Yes,
I thought was.
you'd heard of the Eagle clan being in the north,
Cool. Okay.
but that wasn't necessarily where the shifters came from.
Oh shit.
Oh shit. Shifter intrigue.
Yeah. Okay. Good to know.
They're like,
Wilby
we
doesn't
hate
know
those
details,
fuckers.
So he just looks at the message he got and stands up and goes to try to find the others. Picks
Okay.
up his work he'd been doing.
Lena, what did you want to do?
I need to go pick up my
Get your armor.
stuff.
All right.
Please and thank you.
Heading over to Grits when you wake. You'd get there, and you go, all right. So,
Right?
follow me. He comes over and he shows you, growing out of kind of a little pod, you can see this helmet, and he cuts it off the top of the pod, kind of gives it a squeeze. There's a helmet for you. Passes it across to you.
Okay, thank you.
Should fit his head, or their head. And
All right,
your
perfect.
armor. And he walks over to one of the other flower pots that's grown, and he cuts open this armor that you see is kind of designed to be like studded leather. It's got these kind of hardened metallic kind of studs built into this fungal like wood built on the armor. And
Cool.
he brings it over to you, unhooks one of the clasps that is kind of actually like naturally grown in, and puts it around you and hooks it on. You can see at first it's tight, and then it breathes and kind of leans into you, and it feels
That's
cushioned.
sweet.
It's almost like memory foam in the way that it kind of cushions against your body.
Just take a nap.
Special to this armor, this studded leather can be regrown by giving it water or and sunlight if it is ever damaged. And on top of that, the armor, let me find it. You have resistance to disease whilst this armor is on, and
What?
every short rest, you get to have half your proficiency bonus in temp HP when you wake up.
What?
Nice little one or two, little couple of points.
Couple
Right.
of points.
Very little brief bit of temp HP.
Okay, great.
Just a common magical item.
Shit. Great, this is pretty cool. Thank you very much. It's
Yeah.
really comfy.
Yeah, no, I've been growing them my whole life.
Oh shit, well you're really good at it. I appreciate it. My friend is going to love this helmet too. Thank you very much.
That's what 4 years of service does to you.
Oh, well, okay, well, thank. She
Thanks
just
for
turns
coming
around and
by.
walks out.
I forget how fucking like young and short the lives of and Dora before they get devoured by someone.
Okay. All right. I take the helmet under my arm and go find the others.
Okay. Yeah, the others would you get the message, and all meet up back in the tavern.
All right.
There was
Is
word
Willoughby
that
back?
Yes, would Willoughby come back to the
Did he
tavern?
make
Yeah,
it to the
Willoughby
tavern?
would walk in. You'd see, I think, like 3 discs of what looks like a cross section of a wood log is what he would be making these maps on. Like this would be a very unconventional, almost like 3D
That's
kind
cool.
of map concept because you need to have something like that to actually
Yeah, makes sense,
realistically
'cause
chart the
Yeah.
the difference in distance between elevations between the routes. So you
That's
see like
fucking
this
cool.
this like almost like chain of discs hanging from his belt.
Were you like carving? What is that?
I'm trying to retrace my steps back to where I died.
Oh shit, you're making a map.
Well, I won't ask anything else, but if you ever need any help with anything,
Yeah.
just ask. But if that's what you want to work on, just let us know where you're going, so we know, just in case anything happens to you. So, but no prying, no further. Just let us know. But I think everyone's ready.
Oh wait, hold on. No, I'm not. I give the helmet to Willoughby. I got you this. It is like to hide, just want to know who you are, cause it's mushroom helmet.
Will be.
Mushroom.
Can I get like a
I
description?
think it's
of,
going
like,
to
this
fit you
helmet?
really well. It's going to be really tight at first, and then it
Spongy
kind of
head.
relaxes. Yeah, it's super comfy.
It would be. It's kind of this cap that kind of comes down, similar to your other one, but this one kind of wraps around the bottom of your eyes as well. You can see it's got these kind of little slight slots. This one's probably like a kind of a crimson red, as a kind of a color, but a little bit faded, a little bit wood bark like at points of it, but this kind of faded red across of it. Similar properties. It is because it's just a helmet, but it does provide half your proficiency bonus and temp HP whenever you wake up from a short rest. And it seems to, if you were to put it on, seems to kind of cushion and fit comfortably around you, almost weaving itself into you. Especially considering you're a Kavista, it's almost grows
Some
into
moss on there.
you. Yeah.
Help grow some good moss on there, or get some little tiny mushrooms.
Willoughby doesn't get many gifts, so I think he'd like kind of take a minute to like process this, and then like really gently just be like, "Thank you, this means a lot."
Yeah, it looks really good.
I won't be able to put it on for hours.
Why? What?
It's extremely difficult to extract my clothes from my body. Willoughby will start the process of extracting his helmet from his head, which will take an hour.
Yeah. Very much just like little bits you snap off, which have kind of grown into. Okay. Yeah, you can spend the hour swapping over.
And then I guess we'll head on our way, and Draven lead the way. Actually, I said to Willoughby just then that if you needed help with anything, to ask. But I want to actually say to the rest of you, I think that all of you have something that you're looking to do or something that you're looking for. I don't really. And if you need help with anything, just ask. I'm more than happy to help you do the things that you want to do. I know that I'll learn and gain a lot from it. So I don't have anything that I'm looking for or I'm trying to do. So if you need my help, just ask. You don't have to. I know that you all have your secrets, but if you want my help, it's there. Just let me know. And then Juno will just sort of be like,
You are very
Thank
lovely,
you.
Juno.
I'll learn a lot. I've already learned a lot from all of you. And I know that helping you with the things that you want to do will teach me a lot as well. So mutually beneficial if you think of it that way.
That is true. Jula's like, wait, I have something you could help me with.
Yeah, Judah's kind of thinking to himself right now. He's a little bit like, am I part of the party or not?
I just follow you.
Not sure about you yet.
Well, I will be walking
Maybe one day.
and give him the message that he received. I don't think he'd even have read it. I think he would just give it to Draven because he truly has no connection to this
Yeah.
really personally. So he just give the message to Draven. I don't know if he got something back, but
Good.
I did.
That is an important confirmation. And it's a clarification I was not expecting. Previously, we came across the Eagle clan and heard of them. The ones that were captured we saw are of the bear. So there are a few out there, actually.
Does this change anything that you want to do, or is just a good thing for us to know?
I think it's a good thing for us to know because then there are more out there that may be helpful in what we need if we do make that difference.
All right.
If the bears have a positive view of us, it's significantly easier for them to negotiate and be an aspect of diplomacy than if we were. Mesagayan, Midgarding, or otherwise.
All right.
Did we,
Good.
when we came in, when you were talking, like, remember when we came in and you were talking to the dudes in the cage and stuff, and didn't they say, like, they had a, I don't know, this might have not been that conversation, didn't they say they had, like, a pretty big range? I feel like I remember the original amount that we talked to were like, yeah, we don't really go, like, looking for them. They kind of, like, encroach on, we kind of just stay in our little area, and I don't know, it seemed to me like they did have a, I was just trying to figure out, like,
You said in terms of
clans there
territory?
are. Yeah. I don't know, so long ago now that we talked.
I don't even know if the Amanita know that there's different clans of them.
That's what I mean, right? Because the Amanita were just kind of like, oh no, we just kind of like, they just come after us, and we try to, like, not really go out after them. I was just trying to get a feel for how big it was. Anyway, sorry.
Okay. You gonna rent more horses, or you just gonna travel on foot?
How far did it take, like, the sprite and the animal messenger to go to get that information?
Technically, the kind of mountains to the north are only probably about 2 hours. Pretty close.
Yeah, you might as well just walk. What the hell you think is in those mountains? Other than shifters.
Freeze.
Are there yetis in Norse mythology?
Big rocks.
Not yetis, but trolls are very, very, very varied. So some could resemble a yeti, some could resemble, like, a massive creature. Yeah. Okay. Are you so you're all setting off north, yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, heading out on foot, you journey into the woodlands outside of Svepir, traveling northward towards the mountains that are now in the distance as you start traveling through north. This is the most north you've gone in this campaign so far, passing through the kind of the northern gate itself of Svepir. It isn't long before you see the mountains in the distance, knowing that they are a couple hours away on the border where the kind of great monoliths guard the northern passway. The great trees that you're in, this dense woodland, will start to come to an end as you get closer and closer to the mountains. The journey there is one of comfort. The road may be less traveled by Amanita, but they definitely still traveled by merchants. You can see the roads are designed for carts and horses, and the way north doesn't really feel uncomfortable. And after an hour and a half, or nearly 2 hours have gone by, you start to come into range of the taller mountains that the road kind of leads on to, like, a pass through them, but you can see where your sprite almost would help guide you and kind of nudge you to show you exactly where to go. You would go off trail, heading to the woodland themselves. Can I get a perception check off everyone, please?
Okay.
Gotta be there.
27.
Perception. I mean,
By God, 12.
I don't think I've ever rolled hotter in a campaign
Oops.
consistently
You
than Willoughby.
Could you
Yeah,
like
this
save
today
some
especially.
of those? It stresses me out, man.
Joe, can you clarify what that second part of my boon means?
Which bit? Sorry, let me check.
Where I have advantage on perception checks that rely on sight or smell and wisdom checks when hunting for food. Is it only when hunting for food?
Yes, that one was for when hunting for food. Yeah. So basically, if you are out and about and away from towns and in the wilderness, I will start to do checks on your general hunger as a group and start to bring in exhaustion and kind of
Imagine having to eat.
Yeah. So that'll be there to allow you basically to go hunting for food for the group, so that you're actually eating sufficient calories.
Ew, I guess.
I think press it, Gabe, press him.
8. I'm gonna start eating these people. I want you to know that,
Yeah.
Joe.
And then they
You did
become
this.
food.
That's how I'm going to cheese this.
Yeah, but I will tell you right now, you better eat them. I'll expect it.
They better be your food.
I've eaten pieces of like 4 creatures you've given me.
Willoughby
true.
would not be shocked for a fucking second if Draven started eating people. He wouldn't even clock it.
It's true,
He'd just be
but
like,
I'd expect you to get hungry around these guys.
yeah, just
What? So what was the height? 27 with Willoughby. Willoughby, you would notice immediately the various trees as you enter into bear country. Essentially, you can see scratches across various trees, though not as random as your usual kind of bear encounter. These ones seem to be almost markings across a series of trees to say this is our territory. And you begin wandering in. And with those rolls, Juno, Willoughby, you would hear just in the distance occasionally just as you recognize you are in their territory. And as you slowly start to come closer, you hear it coming through the trees, then sound of kind of almost bones breaking back and magic essence just sizzling, pushing through the branches nearby. You see a tall, large, kind of broad woman, twigs and kind of leaves stuck in her hair that's uncombed and kind of bristled that goes to her shoulders. She's about 6'3", kind of pushes through, very kind of muscular and broad, strong jaw. She looks across all of you. I was told to keep my eyes out for you.
I'm grateful.
Don't be. You've been invited here because you did a justice for our people. You are to meet with the clan leader, Bjorn, to repay the favor. With me. And she walks ahead of you, walking through the trees. It isn't long before you start to see other bears. But sat there, some of them scratching the trees, watching you as you go past. Some black bears, some kind of like smaller brown ones, but ones the size of grizzlies as well as you get closer. And as you get through the tree line and you realize that you're in kind of their territory, you see this massive cave opening. But doesn't seem like it winds in. It's one singular cave opening, tall and broad, and you can see in there many other bears are wandering in and out. Some in their human forms or humanoid forms, others in their straight kind of bear forms walking past. Everyone here seems to be large. There's not a person under 6 foot. And most are closer to 7. They're broad, tall individuals. As you wander through into their camp, could you do a favor for me on Zappelli? Could you give Zappelli a wisdom check to see how...
He just starts kicking.
Yeah.
Yeah. Always. Always.
Let us know.
Just straight up wisdom saving throw.
Yeah.
I believe in
Give me a
him.
frighten check.
Greatest fucking horse in the galaxy. 3. It's terrible. He's terrified. Absolutely.
Zappelli is
Okay.
constantly just pulling against you and very uncomfortable in this scenario. completely surrounded by massive mammals and bears all around you. You see,
I will do my best to try and calm them with an animal handling.
Yeah, I'd like to see it.
But I might also be like, Willoughby, help. Like, but we'll see.
Do you want me to do about
12.
Talk to him. Talk to him.
You got any
I'll
magic?
give you
it?
advantage.
To Zappelli?
If I get advantage, that's an
Oh,
extra
shit.
20.
Oh, is it?
That's
Okay.
24.
Yeah.
I'll
With
take it.
Yeah.
Yes, Joe, I will have advantage.
Here's
Thank
your
you.
horse.
20,
You're
okay.
familiar with the pen now. I see. That's great. With an natural 20,
okay.
you
I'm going to battle harden this horse.
Yeah,
Make it brave for the future.
you show kind of your calm emotions yourself, and the idea that you're kind of like not afraid of any of the bears, and that they're walking among people that Zappelli kind of calms. The fighting effect drops. Zappelli walks alongside you, listening to your whispers, listening to your coos, and realizes that you've
Okay.
got Zappelli this far.
Yeah, I'm going to protect him.
And you enter into the
Best horse.
cave. All the bears here turning back into their kind of humanoid forms, sat around the sides of the great cavern, eating and drinking, sat next to each other around tables. It's kind of been built into like a mead hall, but they've used every kind of inch of the cave they can to kind of put down a table, put down rugs and kind of places of rest. Others are sleeping in the same hall, and up above, kind of sat in the kind of a almost like this natural cave platform, which had probably once had a pool and kind of once had this like under kind of ground pond, is now kind of built over and a chair sits upon it, and kind of sat there, pushing his hand into just bits of fish that he's been kind of sliced up and just eating across them. It's probably this 7 foot plus broad individual with a beard that kind of pushes out, almost become like a mane around him. He's more hair than skin, you can see. His hands go all the way up, and the fur coming off his hands kind of goes out a couple of inches wide. You see down on the lower section on their own table, the 3 same shifters that you saved, all eating together, waiting, having been summoned there. They all kind of turn and look at you as you come in. But this broad one would almost be kind of fat if you weren't familiar with the fact that it is compact muscle. All of it, like a strong man's build. He kind of sits there atop, fills his belly with some of the fish. And you can see, unlike any place you've been before, you're not really being escorted here. Beyond the one woman who's leading you through, who steps to the side. The arrogance of this cave. They know they don't need to escort. They know they don't need to worry about their leader. Every single one of these people here is capable of shifting into a bear. It's not often that they'll have a threat come naturally in. You can see he sits back in his chair, which creaks beneath his weight. And so, you're the one, sir. You're the one who freed my brothers.
Yes.
The ones who got captured by the little mushrooms.
Yes. I am familiar how important brothers are. And
All of my people are important. We are all kin.
I would do anything for my family.
Ah. And lifts one of the fish and bites it down, just crunching through the bone. You say this, but the way I see it is that you've saved my brothers as a means of winning favor for yourself.
Yes.
This is why you come to meet me. You want me to give you favor.
Because, like I said, I would do anything for my family. And I would believe you may be able to help me do so.
Huh.
Your strength is immeasurable.
Speak.
The mushroom folk, the Amanatar,
Mm,
they provide a sustenance for you,
I
correct?
do.
If there was a way to feed with less of a fight, would you be interested?
What do you mean?
The Amanatar are aware of the war that's approaching, and they're aware of whether the gods will assist them or forsake them. And they realize their own weakness.
Of course they do, because they are weak.
They are weak and smart. Creatures can be both. But you are strong and wise. Can you imagine if these creatures were able to provide you sustenance and grant you information, grant you new types of weapons, and provide you a source of that which fuels your berserkers without a worry or concern of any of their being injured or kidnapped again? What is that worth to you?
The other eyes are now all looking around at you.
You can provide this.
As I said, they are weak, but they're smart. If they believe they can have some sort of accord with you, who would deny it?
I would.
And
We've tried to breathe in their spores before, but it is not as potent. It is not as strong. You eat them. It is 100 times the flavor.
It is not as
100 times.
strong.
Not as strong. And
Because
we are
you're-
used to the gods looking down upon us. We of my clan have survived winters before. We'll survive Ragnarok. And we'll do so with filled bellies.
I do
Sleeping
not speak
through.
of Ragnarok. I speak of Mesogaya. I speak of a man born of lightning who seeks nothing but to raise the ground that you feed from.
Why should we fear this man?
I didn't say to fear him. I simply want people who would rather survive together so no one fears him again.
Well, this wonderful life that he is offering everyone sounds great, doesn't it?
You see them all go.
But how are you going to provide them? We have eaten, what is it? The mushroom people. We have breathed them in. Eating and consuming is the only way to really get the rage going. Have you found another way?
May I ask you a question?
You already have. Go.
Eating them is a way that you know.
Hmm.
Do you not believe the mushroom folk themselves could provide you a more potent tincture of their own design, fully understanding their own biology?
We'd wake up sick the next morning. They hate us just as much as we enjoy eating them.
So you would rather continue the cycle?
We are not the ones losing out in this cycle. I see no reason to change it.
Your brothers were kidnapped. That's losing out.
They nearly died. I'm
Yes.
giving you an audience because you saved them. But that was on them. If they'd died there, they'd have died so with dishonor.
If you died due to a mushroom folk, I would not see that as dishonor. I would see that as a loss and misfortune for your people.
I would see it as choking on a bone. Dying to your meal. They
Joe,
are food.
Can I gauge how strong he looks?
Yeah, you could give it an insight check.
Yo, if he rolls, if there's any like deception he's like showing to like or intimidation, I'd like to add Cosmic Omen to reduce from it. So
Okay. He wouldn't do any intimidation necessarily to Draven, just because I didn't really do it as like a enforce it on your characters. You get to decide that. But he's intimidating as a general being.
Okay.
With an insight check, I'll tell you this. His name is literally Bear.
Yeah.
He looks big. He looks tough. He is the size of a bear in his human form.
Yeah.
He'd be a big bear.
He's going to be
What
a
is-
big bear.
Draven is trying to gauge how strong this figure looks, and he's trying to gauge if he could reasonably duel this figure.
Okay.
What, like one-on-one, I'm assuming?
Yeah.
If you think you could handle a very, very large bear that leads probably a good 60 or so bears. That's up
Is
to
this
you to
bear not
gauge.
honorable? Does
So
this
that
bear
was
not
such a
understand the
no answer.
rules of 1v1?
But I think what Joe's
No, I
saying
know.
is that these other bears all respect
Yeah.
him and follow his orders because he's stronger than them, right? So like,
Yeah.
But I don't know how they gauged, because it could have been he survived something.
yeah,
That's okay.
he looks struff.
Yeah.
There's one way to find out.
Are there any figures around here who look doubtful about anything that he's like, any looks of like concern, or like anyone who looks like they've listened to what Draven has said a little bit more than expected?
Roll a general insight check.
7.
Your eyes have been really focused ahead. You know you've
Yeah.
turned a lot of eyes, but hard to say if anyone's really doubting. Also, they seem to enjoy his humor and his kind of company.
If there's a pause in the conversation, Juno might look to Draven for like, is it okay? Like, you know, kind of like I've got something maybe to add, but like doesn't
Yeah.
want to speak over
Gestures in.
Draven. Yeah, I think Juno would say, "You didn't answer my friend's question properly earlier. When he said that the Amanita might be able to brew a more potent version of this effect that increases your rage and your strength, you disregarded it. You said that they make you sick, that you poison you, but you didn't answer the question. That's a fallacy. You believe that they would betray you because you have betrayed them, because you have fought. But if my friend's suggestion, if there was peace between you, could they provide a tincture, an elixir, a potion, something that could make their spores more potent than consuming them, if you were at peace?"
I don't know.
Ah, that seems a curious opportunity.
And if they do, would you consider that? Or should we keep it to ourselves?
Roll a persuasion check.
Can my thing be giving Draven
Yeah,
advantage
you
on
can
that?
give advantage.
Because like I think she's trying to use the wisdom and like the philosophy to like kind of say like, you actually don't know, blah blah blah.
Yeah. 19.
Looks good.
Right now, there is no threat to us. Right now, we hunt them when we need them. And Ragnarok might be coming. So we'll have to eat many of them soon. But we see no reason not to eat them if there was a stronger effect.
You see one of the others go.
But to be honest, they taste it the other. They are fun to hunt. Enjoyable. To see them rush around trying to fight back. But the rage is intoxicating. You can make it greater. We could war
surely-
against even greater creatures.
I was going to say, I mean, you say that they are fun to hunt, that it is laughable to watch them, but surely such a hunt is not really worthy of such a great clan. And I sort of like, as my friend said, your strength is immeasurable. Juno says like, you know, like you, and also maybe kind of almost hinting to Draven, like when you like were like talking him up, he seemed to like really respond to that. So like she's now like kind of hinting like, yeah, like maybe they're below you. They're not worth your time to hunt, but right now you hunt them for necessity. Yeah. So if there was a way, it would be better, right?
If you received this, imagine through the gifts of the Amanatar, you are what's to be feared during Ragnarok. There is no need or worry for Fenrir. There is Bjorn and the Bear Clan.
And you would give this to us, not the Orn. The Eagle Clan.
You would not want them to have it.
No. Let them live in envy of us. Who rage true.
Just as you had to consider my word, I would like the grace to consider yours.
Very well.
But you have my word that I will speak to the Manitar. And when they confirm this...
And Draven takes a dagger and cuts his hand.
that I will come back and speak to you.
And he puts his hand out. Essentially trying to make like a blood oath in this conversation.
He looks down to it. He leans forward.
My word is good enough. If you ever see me bleed, it will be before you die.
Draven is going to use lay on hands while his hand is out to make the wound heal up.
Okay.
Then this will be the last time you see me bleed as well.
I like you. Prove to me that these mushroom creatures can produce a rage greater than what they are capable of now. Not only will I not kill them, I'll protect them. They'll be ours.
See their own, but
Well, let's pump the brakes for a second.
hey, hold on.
Let's get out of here.
I like that everyone was like,
I love the idea that you talk about.
As in
I think there's
protected vassals, correct?
You
like,
say
"Yeah."
this like they have.
He's kind of looking confused.
A sense of mutual trust, Lord Bjorn. If they trust you, you can also be comfortable and confident. The tincture will be pure and potent. If they feel threatened, if they feel at loss, if they feel in danger, well, you, of course, would be quick to clear and quench any danger. They're weak, but not stupid.
You do not see them as food.
I prefer things that bleed myself.
Very well. You prove to me that they have a rage that matches no other. We'll consider that.
That is all I can ask.
Have you gone to any of the other clans about this?
No, I came to yours first. We agreed to.
Good.
Is there a way we can say something so the other clans know that we are under your influence, Lord Bjorn?
Give a persuasion check.
Damn it.
Come on,
bear man.
I believe.
Bare naked ladies. 10.
I gave you an audience because you saved my brothers.
Mm-hmm.
You seek the other clans. Good luck.
I want to use divine sense
Okay.
just in case.
Mhm.
To make sure that there are no celestials, fiends, or undead around us.
Divine sense goes off.
60 feet.
None.
Good. Important. I'm learning.
Okay. Well, that is all I have. Skull, Lord Bjorn.
And to you. What is your name?
Don't you fucking do it.
Your name?
You may call me, Many know me as Draven, but you can call me
Valmeta, you know the way out. My bears will not disturb you.
Oh, shit. Thank you. And as they're walking out, the party will probably definitely notice that Draven doesn't get asked his name. Everyone else usually says it for him. So Draven looks a little distraught about having to tell this bear man a name.
You good?
We can talk about this later.
Okay.
Let's go.
Probably a good idea. Let's get out of here.
That went decently well.
Was
To the
that
bear
decent?
people.
I mean, decent.
We now know that there's multiple clans besides the Bear and Eagle. We know that they are cautious of Ragnarok to some extent. And now we know that he's afraid of the others having power and influence. And also,
They are his
technically, they're
brothers, but not
vegetarians,
enough to share.
which is shocking.
Yeah, right. Oh, you said my brothers. That's great. Also, don't give them any of this.
Yeah.
Don't tell them about it. Don't.
Which
Okay.
kind of defeats the purpose.
Yeah.
Yes, it does.
Because if, well, yeah.
Now the others might be not. We don't have to do this now, but now we also know that we might be better off having like 2 or 3 clans than one clan of bears that also
Well-
just digs.
Yeah.
Think about it like this. If we help specifically this clan by giving them these tinctures, if the Amanita can truly do
You
that,
can make them.
then
yeah.
likely what we are actually doing is inciting a civil war
Yeah.
between
Oh,
the clans.
Right.
Probably
As the others
enslaving the
attempt to
Amanita
kill
as
the
well.
Amanita.
Yeah.
The
Right.
Amanita will
So
be
nobody has
enslaved.
it. Yeah.
They'll all kill each other.
Yep.
And then whoever survives will probably either A, if it's the Bear Clan, continue on enslaving the Amanita, or B, if it's any of the other clans, devouring them as things have always been.
When we're
I'm
far
not a
enough
big
away,
fan of the bear.
Draven,
yes.
when we're far enough away, Draven will
big
mention
fan.
that his new intention with that at any point in the future is to consume some of the Amanita rage fluid and then usurp that bear clan.
If
I
we
mean, I think
want
that's
to
maybe a better way to
kill
do it.
that guy,
Yeah.
all I'm saying is one moonbeam ruins his whole day.
Yeah, those moonbeams are really good, right?
One moonbeam ends his life immediately.
Hey,
He's
Willoughby,
not going to be much of a bear once he's under the light.
you know how, like, you know how you could maybe make another sun fruit or whatever, like, what if you looked at that, like, I don't know, do you think you could make a potion? And obviously the Amanita can do it, but I'm just wondering, like, how easy it is to make, and I don't know, I just
Well,
like to know my options.
in Svepia, they have an alchemist.
If I can make rage potions, is that what you're trying to ask?
I just mean, like, I don't know. I have a sort of idea that is only a quarter of the way formed. I can't really put it into words yet. Just like, are you good at making potions, I guess, is my first question. If you had a potion, could you mimic it?
I don't know
Like,
anything about apothecary work.
I
I'm
don't-
good with
That was the fruit thing, right?
I
alchemist.
know how to make maps.
Alright, okay.
Sounds like Eldred, maybe. I know that there is an alchemist in Svepia. They
Yeah.
made some things for me when we were dealing
Right,
with
you
Ragnar.
went. Yeah, you went to the shops, right?
Mhm. I think that they have talented alchemists, and they were able to make things that the potion that they made me, I've never seen an effect like it, and I'm confident that they could probably make some sort of rage potion from their own spores. I don't know how
True.
much it would compare to consuming them. It might not be strong enough, but I think they could make one. I did not get a good
Yeah.
feeling from those guys.
Fuck
Yeah,
those guys.
They
that is
did
a good
not
way to
seem
put it.
like stand-up individuals.
I think it was a good idea to try it, right? Like, it was smart to make an overture and see, like, what the deal is, and now we know that they fucking suck. So
We now have
and they
a
know that
name
they
as
have
well.
other enemies.
yeah.
We have a name.
We have a clan, and we know exactly where they are.
The situation is, and I think this is the main takeaway, is dealing with the political warfare format of this issue is something far more complicated than I think any of us, unless you want to fess up now that you are a general or someone that knows a deep amount about military tactics and politics at the same time, to deal with this exact situation. Are you darting your eyes around?
I'm darting my eyes around looking at everyone.
I mean, my mother was a soldier, but not a general, so...
Willoughby, we should have a conversation later.
We should have a conversation. But what I'm trying to say is that we are on a time limit, and I am not sure that... We've done all we can.
I'm satisfied.
We've done what we can, and I'm not sure we want to... I hate Svepir. I hate it so much. I'm going to be honest.
We know that you hate it. Yeah,
I don't wish them death, but I don't want to go back there another 18 times as we broke.
Also, if we die there, you know they're not going to really like. They've got that shit. Remember the cemetery? Like they were like,
They just
oh, when
put you
people
on the
die,
red
they-
list.
yeah, right.
They're gonna
I
huck
don't.
us
I
in the
can't deal with it.
fields.
They are going to put us in a field.
I do like the idea of maybe one day Draven kicks that asshole's ass and becomes the leader of the clan and rules over the bears or something. But that's maybe a future
This
problem.
is like a we
I would
come
also like
back.
it if you kicked him in the face, too.
If
Like
we
knocked
come
out
back
some
down
teeth.
this way on our way south, maybe we swing by the bears and we put them all in the ground.
I like, yeah. I mean, maybe not the ground. Yeah,
Maybe
beat them
not
up.
all of them either. Perhaps just specifically the one guy.
That guy.
But what I'm saying is, right now we're biting off a lot more we can chew, and we have about 8 different things we need to be doing that are more important than helping the Amanita, who, for all intents and purposes, are still doing pretty good from the looks
That's
of
not
things.
as
Looking
pretty good.
around their place, they're doing pretty good. They have a booming business that they do not know how to manage properly, but that's a totally different story.
Yeah, they're so bad at it. But then I was just thinking, as you were saying, like kick his ass, like also Draven, if you fought that guy, maybe could knock out the tooth, because we needed one from an adult that is just taken and not. Like, what if you just punched him real hard and knocked out the tooth at least?
Oh, yeah, you
I'm
might need
joking.
to
You would,
like
update-
you'd have to kill him, like.
Eldred was a little bit out of it when you were talking about that
Oh
last
yeah.
time.
Eldred, you were sort of like not paying attention too good at that point, but that's okay because a lot happened. When I said
to Willoughby.
when I said like how do we get to the Grey Sisters, we need some teeth. So we need one from a kid that is just like lost naturally, like you can't scare the kid into giving it tooth or like beat it up. Don't beat up kids, it's probably a good idea anyway. Then the adult one is like forcefully taken, and then one from a dead person. And then
It's the
also
only hard one.
then also yeah, right. And then also bittersweet in a bottle with some lightning in a storm. And then we are going to end up, I guess, in... No, wait, shit. I don't know if we need to be at the... Find the mountain. We go... I think they're on the mountain, and then we get transported there. It's a mountain in the middle of, like, no mountains. It was so weird, anyway.
Only been there for like 40 years. But it is
like a random mountain.
yeah.
So anyway, what I'm saying is we need some teeth and maybe miss that part. And so anytime you, like... If you see, like, somebody who's going to...
We're kidding.
is pissing you off, like just punch them, see if you get the tooth out, and then if you do, grab it.
Getting the adult teeth is easy. The problem is getting the child's teeth. Okay, is the real problem, because you can't just force that one. As far as I'm concerned, unless we can stumble upon a child's tooth naturally in the wild,
Yeah.
not much more we could do.
And we keep stumbling upon like
Keep an eye
Monica
on-
and elves.
Yeah. Once we get to like a town with people in it, maybe we can start asking.
Yeah,
the
that
kids.
actually is a good point. We have to leave Swepir because we need to get to a place where people have
We
teeth.
need a
and like,
yes. There's no.
we need teeth.
There's
Does
no
it have to be a person's tooth?
Yeah, I saw like
Menor.
it was like, well, I mean, yeah, it was people I saw, like not
Oh,
a
then-
cow or like a horse or whatever.
I
It
want
was
to get
people
out
teeth.
of here so badly.
Okay, let's go.
I want to get out
Okay.
of here. I
Okay.
don't like being south anymore. I want to go north. I don't like being here.
So then we ask the question then.
Where, we
Where are
going?
you heading?
Okay.
Not
Willoughby's
back to
voting north.
Swepir.
So if we go north, yeah, we're not going back to Svepir. That's off the cards. Willoughby, you want to go north. Holtegor
Willoughby
is
wants to go north.
southwest. Draven, where do you want to go? Where do you think we should go?
If we go north towards Burka, that was one of the places that I saw in that vision. Related to
The
Asla.
Castle City?
No, a treehouse in the woodlands of Burka. A couple, a husband, wife, and their kids.
Okay.
A place of magical favors.
This is a place to
Fortunate
find
favors.
things that would help us or something.
It was what did you say?
Fortune and favors. Shall I give
Oh.
a token?
Yeah, no, it's this. I
Yes.
have the token. Oh
Okay.
shit! All right, let's go to Burka.
It's a
Alright.
place
Cash
to
it in.
find magical items, and I think,
He said it was a free quest.
yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then we know
alright.
that the castle city is somewhere to the north anyway as well. I think that that's definitely something we should look into. Eldred, I know that you had some business up north. Are you happy to head that way as well?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I guess that gets us
It's either that or.
Some- bit
Yeah.
closer to Jotunheim, eh?
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Okay. Well, I think it sounds like for the most part, Holtegor, maybe we can come. Maybe if we pass by this way, we'll go and help them. But it sounds like we're being pulled north.
As far as I'm concerned with Holtegor, from what I gathered, we would be dealing with a flying creature that can travel far faster than us across a massive swath of land. That could take us weeks to finish
Track
that.
down. Sure.
We don't exactly have that kind of time.
I feel like there's something important I should mention.
Okay.
Draven is not my given name. It is the name that I chose while here.
I wanted to ask about that. That
It's,
was a weird moment.
It is to reference a dread raven. Draven.
Oh, that is good.
Like the not Ravnin?
No. But similar ideas, ironically.
If that's the name
Ew.
you've chosen,
It is a
Are
name
you-
that I use here for
Do you
now.
not? Is it
Right.
safer for people to not know your real name? For
Most
you, for other people, I mean. You know
for
what I mean?
me and my family, probably. And
Okay.
it is safer so that the Lord of Lightning is unaware of who I am until I am ready.
Okay. Oh, that's the name
Why
you wish
did
to
you
use?
give Bjorn your true name?
Because I don't lie when asked questions.
So,
I usually wait
Is
for
it a
you
lie
all to
though, or
answer.
is it a new name? Is it an additional name that you also have?
I'm not sure. It feels like a title more than a name sometimes. But true.
Thank you for telling us, regardless.
Well, northward around the mountain. It's going to take you up towards Burka, towards the castle in the north, towards a shadow, and towards our next episode, because that's where we're going to finish tonight's. And we'll be back next week with episode 28. Thanks everyone for
Nice.
playing, and yeah, I mean, hey, look, your vision cut down suspects, but it's still a murder
Oh, what?
mystery.
From infinity of all the people that exist currently in 3 fucking realms
Yeah.
down to 20? Hey, thanks, Joe. Thanks.
I mean,
that was
yeah.
No, that-
cool.
what
to
do you
be
mean? Why you
fair,
saying that
Wilby wasn't
sarcastically?
trying
That's
very hard to
true.
look for people until literally
yeah,
this week.
you
so-
said that so sarcastically, but genuinely,
Yeah.
that's a big
Also-
cut down.
We're level 6.
Odin
There's
did
plenty
do it
of game
himself.
for us to reduce that
Yeah.
list even further,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Like he can't be telling us who did it
yeah.
now.
Exactly. Yeah.
Spin a wheel.
Like, he could, but it would be a problem.
Yeah, I mean, you know, if you want the show to end real fast.
Now we need to fan cast all of those gods that were there as if they were like in a Knives Out movie.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
very when I was
Oh my
writing that, I
God.
was like, yeah, I really should write this like it's a murder mystery. And get them all emotive.
Oh man,
That
So-
might be the
Would've been
most
Benoit Blanc
notes I've
everything.
written for like a scene ever.
Mhm.
It's just like
Yeah.
basically 1-to-1 verbatim copying what
Yeah.
you were saying
Yeah.
the whole thing.
Well,
My hand hurts.
thanks everyone for playing as per usual. We will be back next week. Let's go ahead and do our shout outs. And let you guys all shoot off. Let's start off with Gabe and go around that way.
Hi, Gabe Hicks, Gabe James Games, across all platforms. You can find me online at that, and if I stream, you'll have to follow me because I don't post on social media about it.
Yeah, right on, dude. That's the fucking way.
True, he doesn't.
Hilarious.
You never know.
He's a
He
good
could be
streamer.
streaming right now. You should go check.
Don't say that. Don't say that. I have gone live twice by accident.
Oh, that's
Dude,
scary.
that's
no, buddy.
scary as shit.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
that's so
scary.
terrifying.
That's
I
genuinely
had to
scary.
change my
Close
settings.
OBS, dude.
I had to change
Yeah.
my settings to always confirm that I'm actually trying to go live. It was. I did an unboxing for 20 minutes before I realized people
my
were
heart.
watching me do it.
Oh,
Someone, and then I got a text, Gabe. You know you're live, right? What?
oh my god.
Gabe, how come you're not talking to the chat?
I don't like that. I didn't
'Cause
like
didn't
that at
know
all. That
chat
scares
was
me.
there.
Brizzy.
Brizzy
Nightmare fuel.
voices everywhere. Not
True.
TikTok.
No TikTok.
Everywhere but TikTok.
Specifically not TikTok.
We don't go there.
Tomato.
Good session, dude. That's it. Good session.
Cool. Twitch.tv/tomato.
Cool.
You know where to find it.
It's a good to know.
Chrissy.
DMs need to know it.
It's,
DMs
Stop
ought
it.
yeah, it's
to
very
know it,
nice
dude.
words. Thank you.
They ought to know when it's put
Please.
together good, dude.
Please go check out Tomato. No one ever looks at his channel because no one knows what it's called, guys. Please look in chat.
Please,
Please go check him out.
please.
He needs it.
He needs it.
He needs it. Please, he needs your support.
He gets like
rough out
12
there.
viewers. It's wild. Like,
Mark.
Yeah, it's you could find me. Oh my member brain. You can find me two places. Sherlock Humes. There's an underscore in the middle on Twitter. There's an underscore at the end on Twitch, and there's not an underscore anywhere else. That's how you can find me. I've been streaming a lot more on my Twitch. I do post about it to social media because I require validation and to believe that I am
Also valid.
valued. In fact, actually, one thing I will shout out is tomorrow we're going to be doing a session of my Star Wars Fantasy Flight Games TTRPG with Matt Colville, James Indercasso, Hannah Rose, and our friend OD. We've been doing a couple of sessions offline, but we're going to do a stream session tomorrow, and I got like all nice assets and stuff for it. So come and watch that. That'll be, I think, 7 o'clock UK time tomorrow on my Twitch. And then I also do my other show, High Rollers D&D. High Rollers D&D on Twitch. We're back this Sunday, so come and check that out.
Sweet.
As we wrap up our big campaign just before Godforged, watch High Rollers, then go watch Godforged. It's the combo, the winning combo,
The double.
on a Sunday. Yeah. But yeah, I know because you wanted to check out the Star Wars stuff, Joe. Like,
Yeah, I want to
definitely
see
come and
it.
check
I want
out
to see
tomorrow.
it. I'm a big fan of
tomorrow. So
everyone on the
it's
cast
annoying.
too.
We can't. Yeah, they're really. It's kind of one of those random things that we just put together at random, and then one day started. It was like, shall I stream this? Okay, yeah, I guess.
I'm glad you are.
But there's not going to be like a set time, so you really have to like
Whenever.
follow me on Twitter or whatever when I talk about it, because trying to get those guys together on a schedule is hard.
I can only imagine. I can only
Yeah.
imagine.
So, but yeah, tomorrow, come and check that out. 7 o'clock.
Great.
Cool.
Star Wars. Pew pew.
Twitch.tv/Joe Fudge.
I hope that noise was one of the assets. Please.
Godforge every Sunday, 8:30 p.m. GMT, just after High Rollers, as Mark so kindly said. We're in the late game. There's some really cool stuff going on right now. We're genuinely probably 10 episodes left. So it's
Oh my
We just
God.
leveled up.
really
You guys are going to finish before I do.
yeah, we
You
might
leveled up,
genuinely.
man.
Yeah, they are very much in the high stretch. They just hit
Yeah.
level 18. One of them's level 18, the rest of them are 17.
Oh, shit, man. You guys are
definitely
caught
things.
up quick.
So yes, very, very, very late game.
Anything.
Other than that, I'll be streaming next week. I'm putting together a speedrunning game show at the moment, which is I'm starting to do all the kind of backbone of it. It's for you guys.
Cool.
It's 3 people.
You did one today.
Well, sort of. 3
Well.
people competing against each other. No looking up tactics. No looking up any guides. No practicing. Just racing through a game as fast as possible. So non-speedrun is trying to speedrun through a game. It's hectic and fun.
That's cool.
And so yeah, I'm doing all the pre-prep and stuff on stream. And that will come out kind of in the next week or 2. Other than that, though, there's a Patreon, there's a Discord if you want to go and see behind the scenes stuff. And we'll see you next week. Thanks everyone for playing, and thanks everyone for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye bye.
Bye.